Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Las Vegas for another live stream from the 2026 PGT Mixed Games Series. Today's final table, $10,000 buy-in, 8-game mix. We began with 84 entries. We are down to the final 7. Headlining the show, Nick Schulman in the Raiders cap and the glasses. My name is Donnie Peters. I got Kevin Gerhardt alongside of me. It's a pleasure to be calling some more Mixed Games action today. Nicolas Milgrom, known as Nico, up on top, 3.1 million in chips. Dzmitry Urbanovich, Scott Seiver, Qinghai Pan, Walter Chambers, Jesse Klein, all in the mix. $235,000 up top. Everyone's guaranteed $33,600. The 8-game mix, no limit hold'em stud, Omaha high-low, Raz PLO, limit hold'em, stud high-low, and limit deuce to 7 triple draw. That's what we will be playing today. We'll kick things off playing stud 8 or better. Sounds good.
Sounds like a reasonable spot to be in. We can see with limits of 100K, 200K, Jesse Klein is in danger with only 2 big bets. Were you here last night? I saw on Twitter that Nico won all of his chips in a very large PLO pot against Jeremy Osmus. I think it was top wrap against a set.
Yeah, I was here. So Nico, I believe Nico bet the flop on Queen Jack X with 2 spades, and Jeremy potted, and it sent Nico into the tank for quite a bit. I know Nico a little bit. We did draft him on our fantasy team last year. I don't know how experienced he is in the big bet stuff. I know he's very experienced in all the other mixed games.
Yeah, he's been a rising star over the last couple of years.
And he had kings for an overpair. He had the ace high flush draw, and then he had ace king as well for a gutter.
Right.
And Jeremy had a set of jacks.
That's what it was.
Yeah, and the money went in.
I think the turn was the 10, right?
Yeah, I believe the turn was a 10, so Jeremy could obviously fill up on the river. I think the river was actually a spade to give Nico a flush, if my memory serves me correctly. But yeah, Nico won that big pot. He had Jeremy Osmus covered by 5K.
Oh my gosh.
So that's how he got the large majority of his chips late on day 1. Osmus busting in that hand last night in 9th place. His first cash of the PGT season for Jeremy Osmus.
Picking up the action here, Milgrom and Chambers going at it. Stud A pot. Both players ace king high. Milgrom does have a low draw along with Chambers also having a low draw. Chambers locks up the low with his 7 perfect. Pretty tricky spot here. Milgrom does have his low, which is no good, we can see.
Ace of hearts.
Milgrom improves to a 7 low, still not as good as the 7 low of Chambers. Ace, king, queen, high is going to be good for the high half against ace, king, 8 high. Does Chambers think he can get called by a worse hand? The 7-4 low is very, very strong.
Milgrom's going to pay him off. He's going to see the bad news. Chambers is going to scoop this one right out of the gate here at the event number 4 final table.
King, queen.
Yes, king, queen.
You have 7 perfect? 7-5?
Yeah.
For anyone out there that
he has
plays
7-5.
Pai Gow, you know it's pretty difficult to run out 7 cards that don't contain a pair, a straight, or a flush. They managed to do it with both hands there, but the ace, king, queen high successful over the ace, king, 8.
Want to play online poker for free? With Play Poker Go, you get the thrill of authentic poker anytime, anywhere. From quick casual games to action-packed tournaments, Play Poker Go lets you compete against real players around the globe, all for free. No bots, no gimmicks, just pure poker fun. Hone your skills and enjoy the poker experience you love. Explore Play Poker Go on web, iOS, and Android. Deal yourself in now.
You know, they told me they were going to run a commercial early, and I forgot to tell you, so that's my fault.
Yeah, it just came in real hot.
It's okay. We're just working out the kinks. I feel like I just woke up. It was a very late night last night. These guys played, I think, till around 2:30 or so in the morning. So
that's why they kind of pushed it back a little bit today.
More than a 14-hour day. At one point, you know, Nick Schulman was like, "Hey,
you guys all get a lot of sleep.
so we're gonna possibly stop at any time."
Yeah.
It's getting kind of late.
Yeah.
Awful.
Just goes to show, pretty big fields and good structures lead to long days of grinding.
I'm convinced of the they pump oxygen conspiracy theory. Like, how the hell you sleep out here? How the hell you sleep out here?
It's a really good fold. First to act from Chambers with the 8-7-4. A lot of people see 3 low cards and they just enter the pot no matter what. But these 3 low cards aren't good enough to contend against the rest of the field.
Got it.
And speaking of long days, Qinghai Pan over here,
Commitment to the game.
2 days ago, he
You have
played
hard
the
commitment to the game.
10K Torse event till about 1:30, 1:45 in the morning, something. Might have even been later. Because actually, yes, they burst the bubble at 1:30 in the morning. And then they didn't even get to a final table. They finished with 10 around, I don't know, 2:30, 2:15, something like that.
It's a long day already.
He comes back the next day at 12:15. He finishes 3rd in that event, hops into this one, plays last night till about 2:30, and here he is again. So, I mean, this guy is just grinding.
Yeah, it's crazy. Very, very long days.
Speed's ringing. Is it ringing? 25 or 1.
Jesse Klein here, the short stack to start the day. He was all in 3, maybe 4 times late on day 1, kept surviving. One of the hands was against Dzmitry Urbanovich when Dzmitry had top set that turned into a full house. Klein had aces, river ace, the old 2-outer to stay alive. He was already up out of his seat about 5 feet away from the table when that ace smashed the river for Klein to keep him alive.
I'm sure everyone at the table erupted.
Everyone in the whole room, because it might have been hard hand for hand, maybe soft hand for hand, but whatever it was, the other table was done playing. So all of them were over watching what was happening at this table as well. So yeah, everyone, you know, kind of erupted.
They would have been happier if he was eliminated, I'm sure, to get closer to this point so they could go home and sleep, but it's not what the poker gods had in store for us.
Got me to drink. I think that's the only reason. No drinking, lose, lose, lose. Start drinking. Win, win, win.
Appreciate everyone who is tuning in on Poker Go, on the Poker Go YouTube channel for this 10K 8-game final table. 7 players remain. 84 began this tournament.
The drinking made me not be
We'll be taking this one down to a winner today, $235,000 up top.
No, you don't think that's it? Complete.
Complete one. I don't think the first part is true, but
You know, I don't think most things I say are true.
that's also true.
We'll have another final table coming your way on Monday for the 15K buy-in Big Bet Mix tournament that is playing across the studio hall here.
I shouldn't be nice to say with your chop.
It's nice to give them Super Bowl Sunday off.
Yeah, of course. You know, a lot of these guys are in action. Got a lot of bets. It's been the talk of the town.
What side are you on? Are you at liberty to discuss?
Yeah, I'm at liberty to discuss. I discuss football all the time, every season, on the Gridiron Gamble podcast that I've done alongside my good friends Rich Ryan, Brett Carlson, Mo Nawara for, I want to say 10 years now. But let me pause that and get to this, because Jesse Klein is all in right now. We are playing stud high-low. He is against Scott Seiver. 3s in the hole, which are now up for Klein because he's all in. Seiver's got the 6 up, ace-5 down. Seiver gets a deuce, so he's got 4 to a low. A 9 for Klein.
The worst card in stud 8 is a 9.
10 for Seiver and a queen for Klein.
3's still ahead. Just has to fade a bunch of overs.
Seven straight here. Down and dirty.
Six of clubs for him. Yes. Deuce of diamonds. Yep, deuce of diamonds for Scott.
Thanks, Chris.
So we got a 6 for Klein to give him 2 pair. Seiver bricks out anyway. 3s would have held.
I mean, this is a very small thing. It doesn't matter, but I would like to not say my card out loud to production like before I'm like doing it.
Well, it didn't scam the only reason.
No, I know. I'm just saying because like they saw it before. You, like, never mind, it's fine.
It's 2-4. Can't see.
You heard it before.
I think Seiver is very.
There they go. We didn't see it wasn't the deduce.
I think his reaction to that is okay. As mixed game players, we like to sweat our cards. We like to.
Well, I think
be
we need to
surprised.
fix that personally. Because, and I don't know how to fix this. I have no idea. But we see it on the screen,
Yeah.
and they're still sweating it. But I want the reaction.
Right. The
You know?
reaction is so much better than
I want the
us
reaction
knowing
from me,
instantly.
too.
Yeah.
So, it's been something that's been kicking around in my brain. Like, how do we solve that? I don't know if you can delay that somehow. But it's tricky, of course. I mean, it's not perfect.
Yeah. Once it goes over the reader,
Yeah.
that's how it's designed, is to read the cards and display
But
them.
that was funny.
Yeah. Exactly. You know, he said it, and you were thinking it.
Deuce of diamonds. 25.
But back to my story about the football and the podcasting. I have the Gridiron Gamble podcast. You guys can check them out wherever you find your podcasts. We have a YouTube channel as well. We do football stuff every season. I'm on the Patriots, as I discussed. I probably have a dozen other bets as well, just because it's the Super Bowl. It's the only game. Fire a bunch of props and whatever.
You're a prop betting master.
I mean, I don't go too crazy, but for this game, you kind of just go a little nuts.
Are you
right?
over under on the national anthem? Are you color Gatorade?
I don't
Are
even
you
bother with that sort of stuff.
Those are the crazy props. Like,
I would probably always take the over on the national anthem, though. But I don't really get into it that much. And then I know two of my co-hosts, Rich Ryan and Mo Noir, they're on the Seahawks, and they like the Seahawks pretty big. But I feel like everyone's on the Seahawks. So I talked with David ODB Baker the other day. He's also on the Pats. So he's much better at this than I am. So
yeah, on Twitter, it seems like the sharper side is the Pats. The public side is the Seahawks.
10 seconds.
Three-handed action here. Schulman folds his 3, starts with 3 to a flush draw, makes a pair. Milgrom catches a very good card for his hand, bets out and gets 2 folds.
last year during the PGT Mixed Games series, Milgrom won the 5K horse event for his first and only PGT title. But he's back in the mix at this final table today, trying to get title number 2. Nico's one of those guys who, he has a presence across social media. Believe it's Nico M83 Poker, 23 Poker, Nico M23 Poker, excuse me. He's regularly sharing stuff, you know, trying to give some kind of insight behind the scenes into his tournament runs and whatnot. Seems like a big mindset guy in terms of like wanting to just compete the best he can at all levels, never give up, fight till the bitter end, you know, all that sort of stuff. So
that's the way you need to be. And once you stop playing your A game, once you drop into your B or C game, your day is over. And that's something that Pads and I talked about before. He says that the games that he plays, the big stakes live mixed games, everyone basically plays the same cards, the same hands, kind of the same way. The difference is whoever loses focus first loses on the day. So it's huge to have your mental set in poker.
4 spades.
4 spades.
King of club, 4 spade. Yeah, it's really hard. This table is very long, especially your 2 seats.
So looks like Pan was the bring in with the 3. Klein completed with the king up. Catches a 4 to give him 3 low, 3 straight flush.
yeah, Klein continuing and getting called. We got a queen on 5th for Pan. We got another 5 for Klein.
Bet.
Klein is still very short. It doesn't cost Pan that much if he wants to continue. Pan only with 875 though. It's in a normal situation this would be a pretty easy fold. You have nothing going with your threes, but with the stack sizes, maybe there's an argument to be made. Does decide to give it up and preserve his remaining chip stack.
I talked about Pan's run at the last final table yesterday at the PGT Mixed Game Series where he got third in the Torse event. Also a WSOP Gold Bracelet winner in that club with yourself, Kevin. Pan won the 10K stud high-low at the 2025 World Series of Poker for $411,000.
Oh wow, I don't even know. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah.
I guess I
Yeah.
just got informed. I haven't really seen him too much in the mixed game streets, but maybe since that win has sparked something in him to want to compete more. These are not small buy-ins. These are some of the toughest fields in the world for mixed games, and making back-to-back final tables is quite impressive.
Milgrom with the bring in here. Schulman completes with split eights.
The 8 of clubs, right? Yeah.
Klein's going to take a look and come in. Klein won the 25K horse. I think the first edition of the 25K horse at the WSOP.
That I did know.
So, I mean, these guys are, of course, some of the best when it comes to mixed games. Milgrom's in there as well, so 3 ways here to 4th.
The first time I did the ODB draft, I made sure Klein was on my team because he was on such a heater. I don't remember what year that was, but it's been many years that we've been doing the ODB fantasy draft. One of the best ways to have an extra sweat in the summer tournaments.
Milgrom doesn't really like picking up the 10 here, but for Schulman and Klein, they get some pretty favorable 4th Street cards. Milgrom's out of there. Schulman sticks around with Klein.
And Klein should know that Schulman completing from early position with an 8 up signifies that he has a high hand and not necessarily 3 low cards. 8 isn't really where you want to be in terms of going for the low half of the pot in stud 8.
Not a favorable 5th Street card for Klein. He gets that 9, which, as Kevin mentioned a few minutes ago, the worst card in stud high-low that you want to see. So he's out of there. Schulman takes that one.
Yeah, Schulman's hand was relatively face up there. Like I said, he has a high pair, probably a pair of 8s, and 4 to a low against our just pair of 5s, 3 to a low, and a 9.
Yeah,
It's
just all
not
at
worth
once.
it to
If you draw
continue.
3, just put all 3 on.
Switching the games up here. Deuce to 7 triple draw.
Maybe not on top of each other. I think each one needs to be spread out a little bit. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just not stacked. Anything else is fine.
Take that next big blind button.
Also, nothing matters.
I'll never forget it. Dzmitry Urbanovich played one of the sickest hands I've ever seen doing live commentary. And it was one of the first times I did live commentary with the whole cards up. Playing the 50K, if you remember, he raised and Chris Tong drew 3 on the first draw and made a wheel. And Urbanovich just decided to snow with a pair of deuces. And they put in so many bets. And then on the end, after Tong put in the 3rd raise, Urbanovich eventually ended up folding. Definitely one of the sickest hands. I will always remember it. Seven-handed, deuce to 7, limit triple draw, really incentivizes players to be quite tight. Urbanovich, definitely an opening hand.
3.
Hello.
8-6-4
3
tray
cards.
on the button.
Donation.
Who to who?
At least it's not 5.
Yeah.
Urbanovich
Should've been fine.
knows
You're
that
very
Seiver
bad
has
at
a deuce
5.
in this spot. If he's calling from the small blind and drawing 3, he has either deuce tray or deuce 7. He probably wouldn't even play deuce 4 or deuce 5 from this spot. So Dzmitry knows that Seiver has a deuce that he is looking for. Seiver draws 3 cards and does not improve a single card.
I had you beat.
A donation, thank you. No improvement?
No improvement.
No.
Nothing.
Big cards?
King, king, 3.
Made the pair?
Made
Made
the
it
pair.
3.
We can see the only people that are really in the danger zone are still Klein and Pan. They cannot afford to play an entire hand. So the next one that they choose to play should be a good one. Remember, there's no ante in this game, so you're only obliged to play the small blind and the big blind. So you can really sit around in orbit and wait for the right cards. This is one of those spots. Does Urbanovich want to play in the cutoff with deuce tray? He's looking at stack sizes, decides against it.
Raise.
Seiver being very aggressive into the 2 smaller stacks. Klein folds nothing, and Pan also folds out of the big blind. Scott Seiver taking down an extra 150K with his button aggression.
If you love playing poker, then you're going to love Global Poker. Whether you're into tournaments or ring games, Global Poker has something for every type of player, and the action runs around the clock. Find your next game today at globalpoker.com. Global Poker, the presenting sponsor of the Poker Go Tour.
Schulman folding deuce 4-8 under the gun. I really like that fold. Deuce 4-7 is obviously a play. The 8 is not strong enough with so many players behind. Seiver continuing his aggression, the 8-7-5 tray. I don't believe he will be drawing 2. Seiver is probably just going to take this down uncontested back-to-back hands, picking up an extra 300,000 chips with pure aggression. Is it ironic that I keep saying pure aggression?
Yeah.
I mean, they are raising and showing aggression in the hand, but it feels like this game, dealing out 5 cards to everybody, 7-handed, the dealer has to shuffle. It gets a little slow at points.
What's that? What's it
Yeah,
called?
I mean,
A croupier stack.
Well,
I still think they're aggressive.
Yeah.
I mean, the bets are big now, you know, so you're putting a lot of pressure every time you are wagering.
Right, and like I said, the short stacks, once they enter a pot, they have to be
Yeah.
pretty much willing to die with whatever hand
I mean,
they
the real
have.
thing they should do is have a small cutaway where the dealer is. Like, there should be a hole in the tape. Well, not a hole, but, you know, just a little cutaway.
You know what,
So the
Scott?
dealer should be like ATM.
I have pitched that exact
You know
thing.
what I mean? Because that is wasted
It does
space
make
that's not
sense.
used
Look
for
at
anything.
The only
how
the
much
only
space
slight
there
issue with it is that you do have to
just
worry
like
about camera
dealer
angles
could be
depending
where
on how
that
things
little
are shot.
Yellow strip is.
But I do agree. It should be a little bit of a cutout so the dealer can come up right in there and be around. I also think we can just make the table a little bit smaller. I mean, that's just me. That's just me. Give me a saw.
Yeah, just
I'll just start hacking away out
Yeah.
there. No big deal.
10 seconds.
Urbanovich with another tight but right fold. No one is picking up too much here. Milgrom playing a little tricky. I think all 2-card draws, especially with a deuce, should be a raise, small to big.
Yeah.
Good.
10 seconds.
And I think Schulman should keep a 4 and a 5 and draw 3 here. The 6 is just such a bad card to have in your hand without a deuce.
2.
Does go with 2.
Watch your.
That's all right. I don't mind. I'll flip my hand face up. It's all good.
Just
Still two draws. Two draws left.
Over the hand, you do that. I can see all your cards.
It's not as bad as Hold'em, you know. No, thank you. I appreciate it.
Milgrom catching the 7 here to add to his 8-tray deuce. Schulman does give it up. Normally in these spots, if one player or the other has a good 2-card draw, you would see a raise. So I'm surprised Milgrom didn't want to raise from the small blind. Maybe he was trying to keep the pot smaller, but he did have quite a premium deuce tray 8 when you're talking about blind versus blind against 5 random cards.
For those wondering in the chat, the players are playing 7 hands of each game before they move on to the next game, but it does come with the caveat that as the tournament gets shorter, they'll cut down the hands. I think at some point they move to 6, and then they move to 4 when they're during heads-up play. So it does get fewer and fewer hands that are played of each rotation. But right now, it's 7-handed. This is a 7-handed tournament from the start, so they are playing 7 hands of each game before they slide over to the next game. And I believe the next game here will be no limit hold'em.
We could see some action in No Limit Hold'em for sure.
Well, we might see some action here because Klein, who is short, has 4 to an 8 here. Comes in with a raise. Milgrom's got a 7-5-3 in his hand.
Yeah, this is pretty much just a snap fold. Schulman also with the snap fold. Nothing doing for Chambers either.
10 seconds.
Oh, that's it.
Does decide to come along, draw 3 to the 8 deuce.
Chambers goes with 3. Klein goes with 1.
3, 1.
This might look pretty bad to have 2 pair, but you have the pairs that you are blocking your opponent from having. So I think continuing here from Chambers is reasonable if you're going to defend the 8 deuce out of the big blind.
Also small bet sizing on this street, so things don't go up to the 200K limit just yet. Chambers going to draw 2 here.
Right.
And also important to note that Chambers should be pitching the correct suits. So
Yeah.
he doesn't he doesn't want to keep 8, 3 deuce of hearts because flushes do count against you in this game.
Pat.
Right. Very good observation.
Okay.
Klein stands pat. We know he had the ace to start. We don't know what card he picked up, but I assume he has either a mate 8, 9, or 10. Chambers lets it go with his jack, and Jesse Klein almost doubles up without a showdown. It's a really good feeling in poker.
Klein still the short stack here. Or sorry, not anymore. Graphic just updated. My apologies. Klein moves ahead of Qinghai Pan. Pan over on the left in the hat, sitting in seat 1. He's on 700K. Klein on the right, also in a hat, sitting in seat 7, 925 for
I
him.
told Nick that, but you know. He has a kid, people get older, they can't do it anymore. Dzmitry says, why didn't we just play this whole thing out last night? I said, I told you the same exact thing.
Iron Man.
I thought they might have us do that.
What's the next game?
So the 7, 6, 5, 4, 9 could be played a couple ways. If your opponents call out of the blinds and draw 3, you could stand pat just based on the power of your 9-7. If someone else decides to enter the pot, say Schulman, you know that they have a strong draw. You could draw 1 with the 7-6-5-4, hope to catch a deuce, and if you don't catch a deuce, at some point in the hand, you turn it into a snow. We'll see what develops here, but this, like in single draw, they call this a convertible hand. This is kind of a convertible hand, but you have to be willing and knowledgeable enough to know when and where to turn your hands into a bluff, and that was a perfect bluffing candidate from Milgrom. He didn't get any resistance, so we don't get to see what would have panned out. But those are the thoughts that go through your head if you make it to the higher levels of deuce of 7 triple draw.
Albeit no action there for Milgrom on that hand, but that pot did allow him to move back into the chip lead. Overtakes Dzmitry Urbanovich, who drops back down to second, but they're virtually tied up at the top of the leaderboard, and then it's Nick Schulman not too far behind. Then Seiver, Chambers, or sorry, Seiver, then Klein, then Chambers, then Pan. Should be the final hand here of deuce to 7 triple draw.
As we get deeper into the tournament, these limit games, especially with the button, or say like Stud High or Raz that have single winners, tend to play much bigger than the rest of the games in the mix. People think that No Limit and PLO are the scary games because they're big bet games. They're not limits, but they tend to play much smaller than these limit games. We didn't even see a single hand this orbit go to showdown, so there wasn't really too much blood being shed. But like you said, No Limit Hold'em here, and we have a couple of short stacks. The blind should be 25, 50, 50, so we can calculate big blinds based off that. No one's actually that short in terms of, you think 15 big blinds in No Limit Hold'em is short stacked. So maybe we'll see some play this orbit.
Yeah, and oftentimes in these mixed game tournaments or series, like here at the PGT Mixed Game Series, you might see some of the players somewhat shy away from playing the big bet games, or at least wanting to get overly involved in them, because their skill edge is largely, coming from all the limit hold'em or all the limit variants, I should say.
Right.
But you have people like Nick Schulman here, you have Scott Seiver here, who are going to be well versed in the big bet stuff.
I remember one of my first years playing the 1500 Dealer's Choice. I had Justin Bonomo on my left, and guess what game he called every single time it was his turn, and guess what game I played 0 hands in the entirety of the day.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. And I think you saw a little bit of that, or at least I saw a little bit of that late on day one in that big hand that we talked about between Nico Milgrom and Jeremy Osmus, where Jeremy ended up potting it to get the money all in, and Nico took a bit of time. I think he kind of made a comment afterwards saying, like, I know he has a set, but it's also like, do I want to just play this huge pot when, like, I can kind of grind in the other games?
Right.
But ultimately, he's got too much equity in that spot, yes, but it's still like, you're just jumping off a cliff in the big bet games when you get all the money in, versus, taking a little steps here and there in the limit games, which is largely what these guys prefer to do.
Seiver is really getting after it here with just jack high, and Klein deciding to call with his pair and straight draw. Will Seiver fire one more bullet? He could say all in and put Klein's tournament risk at life. It is not much more than a pot-sized bet.
Yeah, this might be a spot, kind of along the lines of exactly what we're talking about, where Seiver's trying to take advantage of someone in No Limit Hold'em. And let's see what he comes with here.
I wouldn't say Klein is a slouch in any of these games.
No, I don't think anyone is, to be honest.
Yeah, Seiver is really putting Klein to the test here.
Yeah, I think good.
Doesn't decide to ask for all of it.
Straight or big straight?
This was a limp pot pre-flop.
They get a lot of time extension value. on
Scott
these
bet
things, at
1
least.
big blind on the flop, 3 big blinds on the turn, and now on the river does get Klein to lay down the best hand. Very difficult spot to call there for the majority of your remaining stack.
Yeah, man. Uh-huh. No, nothing. Nothing. Air.
He's telling the truth. He had Jack high.
Just the power of Scott Seiver.
The real answer is a really tough spot. Like, especially real short. Like the real answer is it's just a really tough spot.
Who was the player? This was many years ago. Scott was being trapped by aces, and somehow Seiver jammed, and it was like a German guy.
Tobias Reinkemeyer.
Yes, who just looks at him and goes, Scott, I was trapping you, and then Scott makes a comment
Raising the flop.
about like, oh, so you have aces. And then Tobias ends up folding, and Scott just like gets up from his chair shocked and goes, how could you ever fold there?
Yeah, that's a pretty famous hand from the World Series of Poker.
I mean,
900,000.
Urbanovich with an ace in the cutoff makes it 2 big blinds.
And jacks, they're going in.
Looks like 14 big blinds, and we have ace-5 offsuits. It just comes down to a math problem.
10 seconds.
Yeah, I don't think that makes it in there for Urbanovich.
Maybe so.
I think you've been more in the no limit lab than I have over the last few years.
I mean, I don't think ace-5 off makes it in there regularly, and then I would probably slide things up a few pips on the chart if I know that these guys aren't like re-stealing in the correct area. Like Klein's probably a little bit higher up in his range, as I think they all kind of are in this setting. You know, not only because they're more limit players than they are big bet players, but you have the ICM implications at the final table, like all that sort of stuff, right? So I think it's a clear open for Urbanovich, given his chip stack. He has the ace that he can leverage as a blocker, all good there. And then you just have to fold. Unfortunately, Klein just likely woke up with a big hand like he did. So
Right. So maybe we're calling off 7 or 8 big blinds.
yeah, I mean, I
You
might
know.
even fold there. Probably need 5 to 6, to be honest. I mean, it's just,
Were you thinking about the entirety of their ranges?
yeah.
Raise.
100,000.
Same thing, just like we saw. Ace in the cutoff for 2 big blinds. Klein now up to 18 big blinds.
300,000.
Comes with a smaller sized 3-bet than all in.
We play blackjack.
So a nice couple of pickups here for Klein, even though he did fold the best hand to Scott Seiver a few hands ago, but he gets a jam through, and then he gets this 3-bet through, so he's back up over 1.1.
Last hand level.
Last hand of the level announced by the dealer. We are still playing no limit hold'em. Just like we saw in triple draw, we didn't really get to showdowns at all. Klein with another monster.
He's getting all the good hands here.
3 hands in a row. Oh my gosh, Milgrom
Oh.
really waking up with it. Klein thinks he's trapping Scott with the ace-queen suited, going to get Milgrom to 3-bet, and then we'll see the 4-bet jam and the call. We'll run it out. I wish I could see the future while I'm actually playing poker.
Yeah, of course. Well, it helps when you see the cards.
Yeah, obviously knowing the cards is incredibly powerful, but seeing the
There's
future.
3-bet from Milgrom makes it 525. Seiver out of the way. Klein giving off some vibes that he doesn't like it. Is he going to be able to like somehow sense his way out of this one?
Ace-queen suited for 22 blinds and the level's about to go up. I don't think there's there's much room here.
Well, the tough spot here is I don't think, because Seiver was the original opener, Klein is flatting. Yeah, he's just going to go with it. But I'm not going to say, I don't think Milgrom is just the type to just attack this spot.
You know,
so he's
definitely
probably
true.
high up in his range too.
Right.
And Klein probably sensed that a little bit, but ultimately the ace-queen suited is just too good and you got to go with it. You cannot fault the man.
Yeah. Does Milgrom have ace-queen as well? Does he ever have ace-jack or ace-10 suited? Does he have 8s through jacks? Yes, he has all those hands for sure.
Well, here we go. Klein is at risk. 9-8-7 with a couple of hearts. Klein looking for a queen. He could also go jack 10 to make a straight. 4 of clubs on the turn, so that means Klein is down to a queen and a queen only. 1 pull, 3 outs. The 5 of clubs is not it, so we are going to say goodbye to Jesse Klein in 7th place. He takes home $33,600. A good run from Klein, but of course I think you can read his facial expression there that he wanted more, which everyone does when they make it to this point. The updated leaderboard here presented by Global Poker. Nico Milgrom is now up over 4 million, stretching out his lead. Dzmitry Urbanovich, Nick Schulman, Scott Seiver, Walter Chambers, and Qinghai Pan are the 5 players behind him. Pan is the short stack sitting on 575K. The final 6 here from a field of 84 entries here at the Poker Go studio in Las Vegas. My name is Donnie Peters, Kevin Gerhardt alongside of me. This is the final table of event number 4, $10,000 buy-in 8-game mix. The 4th event of a 7-event series, and this series leads right in to the 100K buy-in Super High Roller Bowl mix games.
Yeah, don't forget, every hand is going to be covered there.
Can happen.
You know, all 3 days.
Well, I will say,
the
not
final
every
table.
hand, only because we'll start about halfway through day 1. But
Sure, but you get to see
a lot of hands.
You get to see
A lot of hands.
spots without any ICM implications, just pure chip EV from the best players in the world playing one of the biggest buy-ins. It's going to be absolutely amazing.
150.
Keep doing it.
Seiver
It's not working.
finds ace-king here.
The blinds did increase pretty substantially for these big bet games. So we went from 25-50-50, which is 125K total, to 75-75 with a 50 small blind, which is 200K total. So it's pretty close to a 2x jump in terms of how much money is put into the middle before the cards are even dealt.
Everyone left is guaranteed $42,000 in prize money. Up top, these guys are playing for $235,200. That'll also come with 235 PGT leaderboard points. If you guys want to know more about the PGT, which I would say is the closest thing that poker has to a season-long sports league, head on over to pgt.com. You guys can check out the leaderboard, how the points work out, information on the season-ending PGT Championship. It's all available over on pgt.com. Chambers here in the small blind, Jack 6 suited.
You're very incentivized with the 50 small blind versus the 75 big blind to just play 100% of your hands. It only costs you 25K to win the extra 150 that's already out there.
We get a jam out of Urbanovich, and he takes it down.
I figured that feeling I was coming, but I tried it
I didn't really get too good of a look at the field for the big bet mix. Is there anyone out there that stands out to you? Anyone that showed up that you wouldn't really expect?
John Racner.
John Racner
is here.
Nice.
Hasn't been here yet at the series, but I did pop my head out there, and John Racner is out there in the mix. So
I wonder how many true big bet players, like not necessarily mixed game players, would show up, because the price point is 15,000. You know, they're not playing a 5K or a 10K, and it's pretty easy in that style format to be in for 45,000.
Oh yes. Yeah, that 15K buy-in big bet mix tournament. The final table will be live streamed on Monday on the PGT. We often take Sundays off. Of course, this Sunday is a bit special because it's Super Bowl Sunday, so I'm sure the players like that.
Wow.
Pan is all in here with a couple of 9s.
Thank God.
King
I was
Queen
about
for
to call
Urbanovich.
Such an unbelievably bad hand.
He makes the
Look at
call.
He has pocket 3s.
King 9 suited, Scotty?
Try like 9-8.
I thought it's king.
Okay.
Wow, Pasadena.
Just like that, short stack all in on the right side of a coin flip. We are off to the races. We did see a king and a queen folded. So I know you said you want to be on the side of ace king versus jacks. Do you want to be on the king queen off or the 9
Always.
side?
Always.
On the higher cards. Gives you a much better sweat.
So far, so good for Pan. Still good. Just needs to fade a king or a queen. We know that 1 king and 1 queen were folded. 4 on the river.
Can you pass
That's going to give
some of
Pan the
cards
double
here?
up.
It has a huge mark on this side. I want to make sure it's not on the other side.
And he's going to shoot up over a million in chips. Walter Chambers now, the short stack with 6 players remaining.
On the back.
Small
Yeah,
dent
it's
to
fine.
Dzmitry Urbanovich over there. He's
No,
still
it's
healthy
fine.
on 2 million.
These cards are really thick, so they often will just be on one side.
You're so tired, I mean.
Yeah. All right, last hand.
Minimum
Hold
9s.
coming up.
Minimum.
That 15K big bet mix tournament, the final table is streaming on Monday. That's a rotation of no limit hold'em, PLO, big O, pot limit deuce to 7 triple draw. That should be bloody. No limit deuce to 7 single draw, and no limit 5 card draw. So again, that one is coming up, the live stream of that on Monday. We'll also have a live stream of the final table for the 25K 10-game championship. That final table takes place on Wednesday, and then Thursday, Friday, and Saturday are going to be, or is it, yeah, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I believe. The 100K Super High Roller Bowl Mix.
Yeah, it starts on the 12th. Schulman aces here. Chambers 10s. This is a horrible spot for Chambers. He only has 11 big blind, 12 big blinds.
All
All of it.
That's music to Schulman's ears. Luckily, no one else wakes up with anything. Luckily for them.
Quick call made by Schulman, of course. Cards are on their backs. Chambers is gonna need a lot of help here. A 4-to-1 dog with the 10s.
What would you tell him?
Are you sorry?
Schulman with the
Anybody else have a
aces.
10?
I had 2 10s.
You know the
So
David,
there's the neck-
the David
neck to
Benjamin
ten,
worst
right?
beat
There's the
ever,
neck to
right? When
Yes,
the,
yes,
the guy
yes.
was lying about
Pan did fold the,
I folded a queen. I folded
10
a
of
queen.
spades.
yeah, the
The
two guys
queen
said
gum.
they, yeah, but one guy was lying on the stream.
Yeah.
So as it stands, we are looking at 1 out.
King 8-5. Not much there for Chambers. He's gonna need to find the case 10, the 10 of clubs. Ace of spades is going to end it on the turn. So we are going to say goodbye to Walter Chambers in 6th place. He's going to take home $42,000.
Bad river.
Pan pointing out that he would have made a flush, but we saw the river card there was another king, so Schulman
Aces
would have made
full.
aces full and knocked him out.
Yeah.
Stud high.
Nick Schulman climbing up to almost 3.5 million. It's still Nico Milgrom on top. The leaderboard presented by our friends at Global Poker. Check them out today and find your next poker game at globalpoker.com.
Just bullets.
Oh, just bullets.
Just bullets.
Last hand to no limit. I mean, it just
Yeah.
couldn't have been any sweeter.
It's sweet. I was gonna make such a disciplined fold too.
Wow. You know me well, Scotty.
Wow.
One more inning.
Wow.
We are now playing 7-card stud.
Your wows are becoming more Blez-like.
Huh?
Your wows are becoming more Blez-like. Wow.
That's when it goes down to 5 minutes. So there's like 3 hands left.
That's why I always tell everybody you're the
I
best.
think
Scott.
it's up to 5 hands. Maybe.
Where is the Blez?
Where is the Blez? Blez is trading sports cards.
Probably, yeah.
Switching
Final
the
5
game to
players
stud high
guaranteed
now.
$58,800.
It's a good chunk of change for a
Minimum.
Yeah.
10K buy-in.
I mean, it depends how many bullets you're in for, but yeah.
It's true. You're probably not in as many bullets as you will be in the 15K that's running right now. Schulman is really getting after it with the 7 completion from first position with the ace-9 in the hole. This is his game, right? This was the bracelet with the famous photo.
Yeah, I believe that was the $1,500 7-card stud. I would say all of the games are Schulman's game. He's as
yeah.
well-rounded as they come, arguably the best well-rounded player in all of poker, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Oh, the buttons?
The miss small, miss
Right there.
or next small.
Jimmy
next
Bluffett,
big.
I see you.
I have the.
How you doing? Christy, Eric, our beloved mods over on YouTube.
Minimum.
50.
Deuce of clubs, automatic bring in for Seiver. Yeah, I just expect everyone else to play relatively straightforward. Schulman does have one of the bigger stacks. He does have Milgrom on his right, who also has the ability to play more hands to use his chip stack to his advantage.
2 bets. 250.
Milgrom completing with a jack. Not too much working in the hole for him, just a king and another spade.
I'd rather the corner if I can. It would help me a lot. Just because my back is always bad to be twisted like this. That'd be awesome. Thank you. Oh, yeah. Oh, this is me against the world. Right.
We can just pick our seats now.
I can. Okay, so the left.
Only Scott.
Last box.
No.
Okay, great.
We can't. I can.
VIP.
Also, I'm going to move back in like 3 minutes. The light's much brighter here. It's coming head on. I might dip back in like 2 minutes.
You very rarely wear shades, right?
Never.
Never.
I mean, I used to bring them just for final tables when I would get migraines and stuff, because some like places lights
very
would
bright.
trigger my migraines.
How much? 50?
50,000.
Schulman bringing in 7 of spades. Urbanovich next to act with the king up, 2 10s in the hole.
Complete.
Does complete.
125.
Dream scenario for Pan here. Split aces, announces raise.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
This would be quite a sick spot to just find the hero fold.
Yeah, I'll say.
He does just get shown the aces.
Yeah,
I mean,
Always.
That's
Not always.
quite impressive. Maybe he's played with Pawn for the last couple of days and understands that he's not doing that without aces. And then immediately after you make a hero
So
fold,
this
you
is the
just
time
get
to
shown
go.
that you were right.
He's weakest when he's eating his food.
King 10-10 is quite a monster in stud high,
He made that great
especially when you're
fold.
five-handed.
Now the food's here. Now we have to attack.
Just order it for image. How much?
50.
Complete to 125.
10 seconds.
The power of the queen completing. All the cards behind you are much lower, so it's a pretty easy complete. This is the Phil Ivey strategy of playing stud high, is if you have the highest up card, just raise until you can't raise anymore.
I kept one of your quarters.
Pawn chipping up nicely. Still the shortest stack, but closing that gap between him and Scott Seiver. I want to give a shout out to everyone who's watching on PokerGo.com and on the PokerGo YouTube channel. For those of you who are tuning in via the YouTube channel, don't forget to hit that like button. Help us drive up those analytics and feed the algorithm, baby. And also, please subscribe to the channel. We're nearing 710,000 subscribers on the PokerGo YouTube channel. So appreciate all the love from you guys. We have several more days of mixed games streaming coming up, as I outlined. We got a final table on Monday, we got a final table on Wednesday, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday. The $100,000 buy-in Super High Roller Bowl mixed games, 3 days of coverage, anchored by Ali Najad, with Alex Livingston and Chris Vitch in the booth. It will be the most expert of expert commentary. I truly believe that. Those guys did it last year. It was incredible to listen to them talk about the hands, the strategy, everything that goes into it. Those guys could certainly be playing that tournament if they wanted to, but they are opting to hop into the booth instead. So definitely tune into that one. Already 25 players confirmed. Schulman brought it in here. Seiver completed. Pawn raised. He's got split aces again. Milgrom finds the fold with buried kings. Another disciplined fold in stud.
It's quite impressive. I mean, Pawn is just picking up the hands, and then when he doesn't have the hand, he raises with queen high and gets the respect anyways.
What exactly was Scott Seiver attempting to do there? Like I don't. That one's lost on me.
So Pawn had an ace behind, and Milgrom had a 4 behind.
They're
So
all
he
behind,
thought
just
that the
different
two
opponents.
players behind that weren't the bring-in were just going to play very tight, straightforward,
Got it.
and weren't going to put up any resistance.
Got it.
Saying God no.
It only cost Seiver 125K to win 175K.
Wear it in hell.
And he's thinking he's only got to really get through Pawn, and then after that he can.
Right.
You know, everyone else should fold, obviously, unless they have something. But yeah.
Right. We saw aces and kings, just picking the wrong spot to.
It would have been interesting because, let's say Pawn get out of the way, you know, what Milgrom would have done, because he's got a 4 up and Seiver's got a 5 up. It just would have been interesting to see that situation play out, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of different situations. I mean, if Seiver folds like he's probably supposed to, if a normal person would fold, Pawn raises, does Milgrom raise again, and we see the hand play out much differently. That line of action probably just saved Milgrom, assuming aces would have hold, you know, 1 million chips maybe.
Urbanovich here picking up a 10 on 4th now with a pair of 10s. Pawn sticking around.
Yeah, he was the bring-in and decided to call with the ace-8-3.
Well, this card here, another pair, could get him in some trouble. he's going to try and rep this here.
Yeah, this is a spot where if you've played the hand to this point, you have to rep at least 2 pair. Urbanovich has a bunch of overcards. If he thinks 10s up is good, he can't fold yet. Oh, wow. There's just so much respect for Pan.
Wow.
Everyone just giving him so much respect. I guess, you know, not being on a live stream, not being technically considered a pro, you just get the respect of everyone else at the table.
Well, if you want to get the respect of other people, at the table, especially when it comes to no limit hold'em tournaments, then improve your game with Octopi Poker. Start with a free account, then unlock advanced tools for as little as $25 a month or $200 for the year. That's as cheap as it comes in the solver streets. From pre-flop ranges to a dynamic GTO trainer, Octopi Poker gives you the tools to actually level up. OctopiPoker.ai is where you can find it. Check them out and start exploring today. I will say that I have watched a fair bit of Qinghai Pan at this mixed game series, and the guy gets after it. So I would not be folding those hands to him. When he has, I mean, he doesn't have to be the biggest stack at the table, but he's fairly active. He's in there.
Yeah, this is a much better hand to defend, in my opinion. The 4-5-6 just gives you so many more options, especially when you catch the 3.
Oh yes.
To give you open-ended, than the Ace 8-3. But I mean, his hand is pretty under-repped.
Urbanovich betting. He's got those queens. He's also got 3 Broadway.
I think Pan is debating a raise.
Nice.
Because he knows his equity here is good enough against anything that Dzmitry could have. Dzmitry has shown him so much respect over the last few hands.
10 seconds.
He's thinking about, you know, buried 3s. He's thinking about potentially 2 pair. We can see it's basically a coin flip from here. Pan is just playing these hands very expertly.
Another 3 for Pan. So he's got 4 to a straight for an open-ender and a pair of 3s now showing. Urbanovich picks up an ace, which helps him if he's trying to go down Broadway. 250 is the bet from Pan.
That's a really scary card because Pan is representing 2 pair that just turned into a full house. He's representing, I mean, not necessarily quads, but on the previous street he might have been representing 3 3s. It's really hard to put Pan on something that doesn't have a ton of equity against just a pair of 10s.
Urbanovich does make the call. So we are going to 6th Street here. This pot is almost 1.4 million. A king and a 9.
I saw the 4 across too, and I was like, oh, nope, it's a 9.
So that king is probably a card that Urbanovich doesn't mind seeing his opponent pick up.
Right.
Because he's going to be centered around a lot of the stuff that he has. You
Correct.
know, straight draws, 2 pairs that are like 3s and 5s, maybe even 3 3s, whatever it may be. But that king is kind of a blank for Pan in Urbanovich's eyes.
Yeah, and if we called on 5th, we have to call on 6th when the king does seem like a very brick card.
A queen comes for Pan, so he's left with just 3s, but look at this man. Right into the chip stack,
Like
firing
you said,
out
no
again.
fear.
And Urbanovich only has queens. So now he's got to make a judgment call.
It is always so easy when you're getting almost 10 to 1 to make a call. I mean, this is the only hand that we beat, is exactly 3, 4, 5, 6. That didn't improve on the king and then didn't improve on 7th as well. This is a massive, massive pot. It looks like a lot of these time extension stacks are much bigger than what we saw the other, or much smaller than what we saw the other day, with limit games being more of a instantaneous decision making. So maybe the big bet games have come into play here quite a bit in terms of tanking and time banking.
Time extension.
Second time extension being used from Urbanovich.
He's invested so many chips into this pot. It is just one more bet. But the best players in the world can find heroic folds here, right or wrong. I wouldn't hate it.
10 seconds.
We have one pair. Pan has shown aggression from the
Sorry
beginning.
about that, my bad.
Third time extension. Urbanovich here is getting 8.5 to 1, which on paper you're like, oh, you're getting 8.5 to 1. You click call. But the bets in
So
relation to
crazy.
people's stacks are healthy portions. You don't just want to give up another bet. That is so valuable in these tournaments, these mixed game, these limit format tournaments. And Dzmitry Urbanovich does fold the best hand.
Oh no. The last like 2 times, Pan said good fold and showed the aces. This time, nothing. Crickets.
And with that pot, Pan is up over 3 million. Not too long ago, during No Limit Hold'em, he was all in with 9s against Urbanovich's King Queen. The 9s held, and now this man is challenging for the chip lead.
Yeah, when you win half of the hands of stud high single winner game, you're going to skyrocket. You know, they call it a Raz rush, but this is a stud rush.
Now, I don't know what sort of information these players are going to have when they go on break, if they're going to get any sort of information from people that may be watching the stream and relaying it to them. But if they do get stuff, and they saw the last 2 hands that Pan played, that one there, and then the other one where he made the 6s and was still, you know, betting and going at it. They have to switch it up against him. Because clearly this guy is willing to get after it.
Yeah, like you said, I haven't seen it. I wouldn't expect it until I see it with my own eyes at a final table.
Now, I know the 2 hands before that he got involved with, he had the split aces, you know, so, you know, very much straightforward there, playing his hands. I get it. But those 2 hands, these last 2 hands, willing to get after it twice. Like, you got to start to adjust if you do have that information. You know, we have that information. The viewers have that information. These players might not have that information yet. So something just kind of keep an eye on going forward.
That's a pretty tight fold from Schulman. Ace, King, Jack, 5, Rainbow, under the gun, 5-handed, no limit, or limit, Omaha 8 or better. Pretty tight. Urbanovich waking up with quite a strong hand. Ace, Queen, 9, deuce, nut suit. Milgrom defending.
We get a Jack 6-4, Rainbow.
Take back 1/4. There you go.
Check, bet. Milgrom makes a pair. Has some backdoor stuff working.
7 of spades on the turn.
Check.
Urbanovich locking up the low with the ace deuce.
Urbanovich betting again.
We have 1 pair, no low draw. Kind of a dirty straight draw. No flush draw, no spades in our hands.
10 seconds.
And just give it up.
So nice pickup there for Dzmitry. Fighting back, getting back up over 1.2 million. Nick Schulman now the chip leader with Nico Milgrom dropping that pot. But only 75K separates Schulman and Milgrom at the top of the leaderboard. Pan in third, then Seiver, then Urbanovich. 5 players left here in event number 4. at the PGT Mixed Games Series. This event is a $10,000 buy-in 8-game tournament. Final 5 players guaranteed $58,800, more than $235,000 up top for the winner.
Once again, ace deuce for Urbanovich with some connecting cards to go along with it. Milgrom, ace tray out of the small blind, ace high suit. I suspect we'll see a call.
10 seconds.
Inviting Schulman into the pot. Not a great hand, but we got some possibilities. 9-5 deuce tray. Milgrom makes 2 pair, 8s and trays. Schulman just a pair of trays with a 5 deuce low. Urbanovich ace deuce low, no pair. Milgrom is really hoping that his 2 pair and ace 5 low will get at least half of this pot. Urbanovich does have the ace of diamonds.
4 on the turn.
That gives Milgrom more outs to make the low. We saw 98% on the flop for Urbanovich to win the low. If we see a deuce on the river, Milgrom will scoop with a wheel. Urbanovich hoping for a 4 or a queen.
It's a king. These guys are going to chop it up if it goes to showdown.
Yeah, Milgrom continuing to bet here on the strength of his second nut low and 2 pair. Very strong hand. When all 4 cards in your hand contribute to the high and the low, it is a very strong holding in Limit Omaha 8 or better.
And chop it up they will do.
3, 3, 75.
So what are your plans for the Super Bowl? You got a restaurant that you go to, hang out with some friends, or you're just doing family stuff at home?
I prefer just to watch it at home. I like to watch it by myself.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we have, as part of like the whole podcast thing with Gridiron Gamble, we have a Discord channel that is in it with a lot of our listeners.
Okay, yeah.
If you guys want to join, bit.ly/Discord Moose. I'm going to give myself a little shout out there, so you guys can join it there. But, you know, we chat in there all along. You know, I'm watching the game. I'm sweating my bets. I don't know. I don't like to be around people when I'm watching that sort of stuff. I'm a weirdo like that. So
Okay.
I'll just be at home. Wife and kids might be there. They might not.
You don't.
Yeah.
It's not your responsibility that day.
Plus, I mean, well, my big thing is that on Sundays, those are my big poker days in terms of online poker.
Right.
It works that we don't play tournaments on the PGT on Sundays. We generally take Sundays off. So, you know, I get that day. Obviously, it coincides with the biggest online poker day of the week, so I get to play online. So I'll probably have the game on one screen, online poker tournaments on the other, and just doing my thing.
Just grinding. Straight up grinding. Wow, Milgrom is really getting after this hand. He raised the button. Schulman 3 bets out of the small blind with aces. This is our flop. Schulman bet the flop. Milgrom raised with air. Some backdoor stuff. Does find one of the backdoor draws in terms of a straight draw.
And you can correct me if I'm wrong, Kevin, but my read here is Milgrom is repping a range that probably contains more tens than Schulman's 3-betting range does. Like Schulman's going to have like ace, ace, deuce, ace, king, deuce, like stuff like that, right? So if anyone has a 10 here, it's probably Nico more so than Nick, and he's just going to continue.
And Schulman's pretty sick at this point.
You saw him shoot him a look there too. Being like,
if
man.
Nico turned a 5 into a bluff on the flop, it got there. Our aces can only beat a pure bluff. Schulman had every right to call the flop and leverage his aces in his backdoor low draw. A really, really tough spot. Can we put Nico on a stone bluff?
And this is, I mean, whether it works or not, Nico's got Nick in the blender right now. So, and Nick does make the call. Ace is shown for Schulman.
Was that a Seiver reaction that we heard on the table?
When you come at the king, you best not miss, sir, okay? Those are the rules of engagement out here in the streets. Schulman, 4.375. Stretching out a chip lead. Nico Milgrom, back down to 2.3. Still healthy, yes. Of course, would have loved to get that one through. Got to tip your cap to him for actually going for it. You know, he could have just shut it down on the end, but no, he's just going to keep firing away. And it's especially in limit formats, at least from my rather novice perspective. But it feels harder to me to pull the trigger in those spots because you know that your opponent is getting 8, 9, 10 to 1. So it's like, well, what if I bet he's just going to call anyway?
Right.
But when you're playing against players as good as Nick Schulman, you know, to use him as an example because he was in that pot, Nick knows the value of one bet, even if he's getting 8, 9, 10 to 1.
Exactly.
You know, so you can pull the trigger in those spots.
Yeah, and Schulman wasn't just calling because I have aces. I have to call here. It's calling because he knows the type of player that Nico is. He knows that he's capable of making those plays. He goes with his reads instead of, oh, I just have aces, I have to call you down. So you can't fault anyone for playing that hand the way they did. Three ways again here to this flop. Urbanovich flopping quite huge. Seiver giving up his pair. Milgrom has the nut low draw with the deuce tray. Urbanovich with the spade draw that comes in on the turn.
So we can see with that turn card, Urbanovich does lock up the high. No low yet, but Milgrom does have the best low draw.
Calling here very standard.
And the deuce comes in on the end. So Milgrom is going to play the 7-3 from his hand for a low.
Urbanovich does not have a low.
Urbanovich checks.
Yes, Urbanovich is waving the white flag here, but I don't think a bet accomplishes anything from Milgrom's shoes, so checking is very reasonable.
Check, check, and these two guys are going to chop it up.
Low.
Three more hands, and then the limits will increase.
Why are they drawing?
What'd you say?
Why are they drawing?
Because of like
Stall
the, yeah.
with 10 banks?
Yeah.
Like back stall?
People were doing it in like the high roller no limit stuff, so they just decided to do it everywhere.
In no limit hold'em, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
5 players left, still playing limit Omaha 8 or better. Schulman's turn to wake up with the ace deuce and some connectivity with his other cards. Pan very defendable ace tray.
Yep.
Wow, what a flop.
Ace, ace, 8. Pawn flops a full house. Schulman has an ace himself. Also has 4 deuce for a nice low draw. Has a queen. That's a 1, a good kicker. 2, it's an overcard to the 8. Should his opponent have a hand like Pawn has, he can make a higher full house. So there's going to be some fireworks here.
Awesome.
Yeah, Pawn just flops to the joint. Ace is full of 8s, decides to fast play his hand. Schulman with the call. Schulman looking for a queen and catches the queen.
Queen of hearts on the turn.
In Pawn shoes, we have to know that Schulman has an ace here. We're just hoping that he doesn't have ace queen. Does Schulman come with the raise immediately? He does. Pawn is in a world of hurt. Be very, very, very impressed with a fold here. I don't think he's leaning towards fold because he does have the backup low draw, 15% to make a low.
Jack of hearts comes in, so there will be no low.
Schulman still with the stone nuts. Pawn has the 3rd best hand. Can he save himself a bet? Schulman, he's telling you that your hand is no good.
And in Schulman's eyes, you know, that's a card where maybe you're hoping Pawn also somehow made aces up over or aces and jacks, aces up. Or sorry, full house. I can't speak. I'm an idiot.
It's okay.
The jack can make a full house as well,
Yeah,
which is a worse full house than you know.
Right.
Even if he had ace 8 already, if he's got ace jack 8 3 something like that, you know, good card for you there.
Yeah, this is a 2.3 million chip pot. 250,000. Is your ace 8 good enough? I mean, what can Schulman be bluffing with? It's really hard to find. He opened from early position. Most likely has an ace most of the time. Is there some world where he has 2, 3, 4 against you? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
And Schulman probably doesn't take this line, even if he has a hand like ace king. You know, raising turn, betting river. You know, if anything, I would guess Schulman probably just calls down with that hand. So
yeah,
this is very, very tough for Pawn. But it's also like Schulman's got probably stone air, or you're just beat. Like, unfortunately,
it's so hard for him to have anything
but
but the best hand.
Well done from Pawn. I think Pawn kind of knew it there, but it's also like you gotta overcome that hump to eventually put the cards in the muck. But everything was telling him, listen, he's got it. Like, he's got it over there.
And that's the beauty of mixed games and playing against the best players in the world. They can make these folds, they can make these reads. People tell you with their betting, with everything that they do, what their hand strength is in terms of mixed games. You just have to believe them.
Schulman now up over 5.4 million. Okay. More than double anyone else at the table for Nick Schulman.
He's 500K away from having half the chips on the table. Pretty good spot to be in, 5-handed at a 10K final table. Playing well and running well.
Ace.
Chalk Pretzel in the YouTube chat said, I would have called, and that is why I watch poker, not play anymore. But I think, as you know, Chalk, as Kevin outlined, like if you think the hand through, it makes sense that you're just beat there.
Oh.
Because the bluffs are just so thin
250 total.
for Schulman to have. When you construct the hand going all the way back to the beginning, he raised in, you know, the second position. So is he just going to be in there with, like, I don't know, deuce 3 4 king? Like no, you know, it's just it's so weird, right? So you just have to think it all through and put the puzzle pieces together, and you got to tip your cap to Pawn there because he was able to do so.
Pawn wanted to fold on the turn, but since he had the extra equity of his 3-7 low draw, he couldn't. And then when he missed it on the river, he could easily give it up. Not easily, but he could give it up knowing that he's beat.
125.
Yeah, and let's not forget, if you are tuning in late, we talked about it at the top of the show, but Pawn coming off a third place finish in the last event. That was Torse. You know, so this guy's been on a nice hot streak here at the PGT Mixed Games series, and folds like that, I think, are showing you why he's able to put together these deep runs. Not only folds like that. Earlier, those two hands where he's getting the best hand to fold, where he's turning his hands into bluff. You know, Pawn's really kind of done it all here at this final table.
It's really impressive. Seiver raised the button here. Pawn called from the small blind. Milgrom called from the big blind. Pawn led the flop with his ace-high flush draw. Milgrom called with his pair of jacks and an open-ender. Seiver did flop the straight, decided just to call. We have no low this hand, so Pawn is already guaranteed 100%, and it just goes fold, fold instantly. And what are we showing? Okay, there's the ace. I think he showed the straight first, and then got a reaction out of Seiver, and then he showed the nut flush, which could not be beat by either player. Maybe showing all these hands from Pawn's perspective is getting him all of this credit. Maybe, you know, he's taking these lines and showing the best hand. Oh, good fold, and it's just netted him so many chips at this final table.
Fold for one bet on it. Oopsie. Ace.
Scott, pretty short. Just over 3 big bets. Raises the cutoff. Ace-6 for tray. Ace-high suit. Schulman coming along in the big blind.
You guys go with the standing cards.
Pretty monstrous flop for Scott, flopping the nut low with a pair. Playing it tricky because he knows he can get a lot of his remaining stack in on future streets. Turns the best card in the deck for him with the wheel and the 6 high straight. Wouldn't be surprised to see him check back here, but he just there's too much value to be had. Schulman has absolutely nothing with just king high.
You good?
I believe that's the end of the level. Yeah,
Just
we're
ace
gonna do
deuce.
that.
No Limit Hold'em tournament players, listen up. If you want to improve your game without torching your bankroll, then check out Octopi Poker. You can start as cheap as a free account, and then you can unlock advanced tools for as low as $25 a month or $200 for the year. They have pre-flop ranges that you can study. They have a dynamic GTO trainer. Whatever you're looking for to up your game, Octopi Poker gives you the tools to actually level up. Head to octopipoker.ai today and start exploring. It is time for Raz. Everyone's favorite game, whether they think it or not.
This is my favorite game.
I mean, for a lot of the mixed game players, you hear them say that they like Raz.
Yeah, this was.
You also
this
hear them
was-
say a lot of them that they hate Raz, but
This was bracelet number 1.
There you go. So you're just forever. You're just sucked in.
Yeah.
It's always your favorite.
Yeah, the story is that I just busted out day 2 of like the monster stack, and I was tilted, and my buddy was like, "Hey, there's a 1500 Raz. I'll take a piece." I go, "I hate that game." You know, I would just sit there and be the bring-in all day long and be complaining. I end up firing it, get down to half a big bet before the money, and then just go on to win the tournament. Schulman is the bring-in here with the queen. Seiver calls with his pair of 3s. If you ever watch Yuri play Raz, like during the Super High Roller Bowl mix game
150 now.
last year, he is a really big fan of playing these small ball spots with like his entire range. I think it's incredibly intelligent and smart to do it that way, to understand where you're at in hands, to be able to take down larger pots from the antes cheaper than having to, say, complete call a raise where you can just call first and then call a raise and know exactly where you stand in the hand. Milgrom pairs up again. Schulman has a made king low. He's thinking about some stuff, but
No.
can't continue.
King's a king.
King is a king.
King is a king when he has the 779 there.
Wow. That's what you think I had?
If he had 2 pair, it was a really bad fold.
He did. He had 779.
Wow, Scott, you might be locked
Well,
in.
he did have 2 pair, and
He
he
did
did
have
have
2 pair.
7-7. It wasn't a 9, but Seiver's on point.
I mean, Schulman did have a 7, so it's less likely that
Yeah.
Nico did have the pair of 7s, but he did.
Oh boy. Minimum.
We have increased the limits. Big bet is now 300,000, so Scott Seiver is down to 4 big bets.
Complete.
Milgrom completing with his ace up. Schulman with a 7 up. Urbanovich with a 9 folds. Scott is just basking in the light over there. He said he was going to move back to the other spot because the light was too bright, and now he's just fully embracing it. King of Spades automatically to bring in as the
50.
highest card in the deck in Raz. Schulman completing with his ace, Jack 6 buried. Is going to take it down, maintaining the chip lead. Urbanovich and Seiver are kind of in folding races here for the ladder. I know neither of them really care too much probably about the ladder versus the chance of winning the tournament, but it is a $21,000 pay jump to go from 5th place to 4th place. Neither of them have enough chips to play an entire hand of Raz if there's a bet on every street. We might get some action here with no face cards
Are both you guys 8s? Or
as the
those
up
in-
cards.
Eight.
Okay,
Eight
cool,
and nine.
thanks.
Complete.
Complete 150.
We saw Schulman just fold the 9-8-4, which is a much worse hand than the ace-jack-6, because the 6 and the ace work so much better together than the 8 and the 4.
Jack of diamonds ringing.
This is Jack of club.
Complete.
Complete 150.
And like I just mentioned, the ace-6 working well together, especially when the cards behind you are not low cards, gives you a pretty easy out to steal. There is an extra 300K in the middle every time. So risking 150K seems like a pretty good investment.
Still playing Raz here. Believe we have 2 hands left. 5 players remaining in event number 4 at the PGT Mixed Games Series. Appreciate everyone who is tuning in. My name is Donnie Peters. Kevin Gerhardt alongside of me.
Complete.
He's the expert. I'm the idiot. Seiver completes.
Yeah, it looks like everyone just has a pair. Everyone really does have a pair behind him. He's getting that one through. That's a really nice pickup for Scott. Like you said, I think we have one more hand of Raz.
Last hand of res.
I guess as I was saying earlier, Urbanovich and Seiver are in a folding race. Scott just doesn't care. He's just here to win the tournament. He's just ready. He's sick of being the bring-in with the kings and the jacks every hand, but he does have a playable hand to defend. Milgrom doesn't snap complete. Maybe he thinks he's giving off a little bit of a timing tell.
Quarter more.
Schulman in there with the 4 up and the 10-6 in the hole. Seiver coming along, giving a little glance and a smile.
5 spades. Yeah.
Neither player pairs up, but
19 king.
Schulman's bet is going to take it down.
Yeah.
First in pot limit a lot. 50, 75, 75 big money. I think the blind's fine. Pick the next one.
PLO, baby. The great game. As per Joey Ingram.
Haven't seen much of him in a while.
Same.
I believe we are still 50, 75, 75.
That is correct.
Which means Urbanovich has 13 blinds.
75 call.
Scott has about 15. Nothing really too playable for anyone here.
225.
Queen, queen, 10-9 for Schulman out of the small blind. He pots it. No action from Urbanovich. And Schulman takes that one.
Extending his chip lead. Closer to half the chips in play again.
New seasons streaming now of both High Stakes Poker and the National Heads Up Poker Championship, and they are exclusively on PokerGo. To head to PokerGo.com today or download the app and watch legends go to work. And if you want to save some money, use promo code STREAM26 for $20 off the first year of a new annual plan. A lot of legends in the mix across both of those shows.
Yes.
High Stakes Poker
You
is
don't
in
sweat
season
things at
15.
all.
Headlining it is Kevin Hart.
Who torches more money than I
And
do
then in the National Heads Up
You
Poker
laugh.
Championship
You
that
laugh when you
PokerGo has
lose
brought
and you
back
feel
for the
nothing
first
if you
time
win.
in a long time. Got Jason Coons in there.
You love it, right?
Alan
It's a great
Keating.
line. You laugh when you lose,
Celebrities
you feel
TJ
nothing.
Lavin, Richard Seymour.
How much is that?
200
A lot of fun in that one.
200?
It is fun watching high stakes poker when they don't have all professionals on there.
Yeah,
You get to see people come out of the woodwork and really show what they can do against the best in the world.
we got a 10-7 deuce here.
Check.
Seiver and Pan going at it.
Neither player making anything. Pan still with the best hand with the ace-king high. We have seen him get after it in a lot of the limit games.
10 seconds.
300,000.
Before he puts the chips in the middle, Scott lets go of his hand. Okay. I see you, Pan.
I mean, he's doing work today.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been
I
doing work
wouldn't-
for 3 days now, but
Ever since that nines hand in No Limit Hold'em, he's just been on a rocket ship. Making really, really good plays. Urbanovich and Seiver continue to dwindle down.
He's 175.
Schulman just looking to attack here with this chip lead.
Yeah, pretty small raise. Urbanovich and Schulman share the same cards. Urbanovich has him dominated. Decides to give it up.
Pawn defense here with a nice looking King Jack 10-9. King 7 deuce with a couple of spades. Those spades are going to favor Schulman. It's top pair for pawn.
150. I was like 100. 100.
Schulman continues.
Call.
And pawn makes the call and checks dark. 9 on the turn gives pawn 2 pair.
How much?
675.
2 pair and a double gutter. Schulman also with a straight draw to go with his flush draw.
And if Schulman does elect to bet here, I would imagine he sizes up.
Yeah, I think going large here is
450.
pretty standard.
Call.
Oh,
Quick call.
I thought
From
I thought he said pot first, and then I realized it was just a call. Top 2 is quite strong on this board. There's a lot of river cards we hate.
4 of
including
spades.
that one.
That is going to be one of the river cards that Pawn did not want to see. And Schulman has the 8 high flush. It goes check, check, and Schulman's going to win that one.
I think if Pawn fast played the turn, Schulman just has to fold.
Schulman now up over 6 million in chips. Half the chips in play with 5 players remaining.
That last hand was just purely him using his chip stack to his advantage.
Yeah, and worth noting there that it did go to showdown, so the other players have to be aware that he's opening Queen 8-5-5.
Yeah.
And he's obviously then willing to put pressure on post-flop on multiple streets. So, you know, not that players don't have an idea of Nick Schulman already. I'm sure they know that when he gets the chip lead, he's going to try and put pressure on, especially in these big bet games, because Schulman plays everything, and he plays it extremely well. So just something worth note. Maybe most importantly to Urbanovich, because he folded the queens, right? Queen, 8-5 for him. So maybe he's thinking back, okay, like I got to. Those are the type of hands when I'm this short. Maybe I got to start going with against Schulman because he's opening it up. Here with the aces and a suit, definitely going with this one.
It's nowhere in 650. It's 650 total.
$650 total, 150K back. You're not really too much worse
A little
than
bit better this time.
60-40 favorites.
10 seconds.
Double suited. Believe it or not.
Time extension.
And that's why we choose a smaller opening size from Schulman, I think, is so that we can get away. If we chose to open pot and Dzmitry repotted for all in, I think we're more incentivized to call.
Mm-hmm. Or even, you know, even if it's a player that doesn't repot and get all their chips in, Schulman might call, which you often see in PLO, just to take a flop, especially with hands like that that he figured don't really interact with the range of your opponent.
Right.
So you just see a flop, you hope to flop well, and then you get the rest of the money in. But I do agree with you. I think he's taking those smaller sizings because in this situation, given where Seiver is, where Urbanovich was, the other players have to play pretty snug in general, so he doesn't need to open it up, and then he is able to get away.
Right. Yeah, very good point.
Last night, that is.
Yeah. Pot.
Ace, King, Jack, 6 for Seiver. He pots it.
I've never been locked.
Maybe if you re-raise pre-flop that hand, he falls as well. Pre-flop.
Yeah,
No, I would have had to look. I would have had to look.
No, last night.
Oh, the last night one.
Last
yeah.
night only.
Yeah. He told me.
Shout out to the main room here before we dive into the upcoming PGT schedule. Right now we are running PGT Mixed Games. Coming up in a few days, Super High Roller Bowl Mixed Games, $100,000 buy-in. In March, we got the Poker Go Cup for 2 weeks here at the Poker Go Studio, March 1st through 15th. And then March 20th through 29th, the PGT PLO Series will be taking place. You guys can see the full schedule over at pgt.com/schedule. That schedule page also does include the list of various satellites that are being offered. I do want to point out that starting this year's Poker Go Cup is a $3,300 buy-in multi-flight event. So pretty low accessible price point in terms of the PGT. 2 starting flights here inside the Poker Go studio. And there will be $360 buy-in satellites leading into that held inside the Aria Poker Room. These tournaments are open to everyone. You know, I feel like I need to say that because at times Some people think that the Poker Go studio is closed off, but it's not. If you have the money, you can come on in. And for the opening event of the Poker Go Cup, the most accessible offering we've had to open that series before. So come on down and play. Definitely fire into those satellites. All the information is at pgt.com/schedule. Picking up the action here on the flop. So Milgrom raised to 175. Urbanovich called. Ace, king, 4. Goes check, check. We see another spade here on the turn, the 3 of spades. Urbanovich first to act.
Check.
He checks again.
Neither player has a spade in their hand. I think Milgrom is pretty incentivized just to get to showdown, see if his pair of kings is good.
Deuce on the end.
Urbanovich makes a straight on the end. After 2 checks, I think we can go for some value here.
125.
That's what he does. 125 is the wager. Try and target an ace that's playing some pot control. Maybe some sort of, weakish 2 pair. Milgrom says no thank you.
Urbanovich now 1.4 million,
Sorry.
more than Scott Seiver has. Scott Seiver is now forced to pay the big blind. We are still playing 7 hands of each game, which means in these button games, 2 people will have to pay the big blind twice. So Seiver has already paid the big blind in this game, but due to playing 7 hands, has to pay the big blind again.
Schulman opens here on the button. Seiver's going to call.
Okay.
Queen, queen, 4.
Wow, what a flop.
Both players flop a full house. They also both have a 10 in their hand, so for Seiver to win this one, gonna need to hit a king. For Schulman to win this one, gonna need to hit a jack.
75.
Schulman bets the minimum here, 75K after Seiver checked.
Yeah, Seiver's just so short stacked. He's thinking about how to best get his chips in the middle and get called. It's so easy to just say pot here and your opponent folds, but when you flop the joint, you want to figure out how the best way to get your chips and your opponent's chips in the middle. He doesn't know that Schulman wants him to raise.
One-time extension being used here from Seiver as he contemplates exactly what Kevin just laid out. How do I get all the chips in? And it's a min raise from Seiver.
I was actually thinking about the merits of a min raise from Scott, and the difference in strength between that or just saying pot. I don't know what the right answer is, but Scott does come with min raise.
Schulman calls. Ace on the turn.
Scott
Probably
does
not a
have
card that Scott is like overly thrilled about, but then again, you're just so short that it probably doesn't matter.
Yeah, Scott's still pretty happy to put all of his chips in the middle. He's just figuring out if he wants to do it 1 street or over 2 streets.
Yeah, just kind of a spot of your Seiver. Like, listen, you got it, right? I mean, like My chips are not the biggest right now. We got less than 1-to-1 for an SPR, so let's go.
And
It's
he's
either
used
going to be
another
now
time
or it's
bank.
going to be now and then river.
Yeah, he's really deciding if he wants to go one street or two, because we see he has under the pot left back in his stack. Does go
10 seconds.
very small.
Yeah, 150, so he is electing to go 2 streets. Or I would imagine, you know, if Schulman does opt to go with the raise, you know, Seiver's just going to call this off pretty quickly. Schulman comes with call. We are going to a river. 7 of diamonds on the end. So as long as this one gets to showdown, it's going to be a chop.
So does Seiver bet all except for, say, one big blind here? No, just goes for all of it.
Queen 4. Chop.
He goes for all of it. Schulman quickly calls. And chop it up, boys.
That's really interesting that they can play a three street pot
Yep.
with an SPR of like just over 1.
Probably a pretty big dog with the 1 chip. No. I guess
Yes.
No,
yeah,
but you weren't too deep. I mean, I can't fold.
No,
the
but
queen.
still.
But just the way it went down, no.
I thought I was dead when you
Doesn't
said-
feel amazing.
Actually, no, I don't, because in that spot, you usually turn up your cards like as you do the 1 chip. When you have like the ace, just from playing with you so long.
True.
You have like 1 hand on the chip, 1 hand on the cards.
Yeah.
Not loving it.
Not loving it.
Not loving anything about anything.
All right, we are switching games, sliding over to Hold'em. This is Limit Hold'em, so not No Limit Hold'em. Both are in the 8-game mix, but this is Limit Hold'em.
I wanted to act like I was too, you know what I mean?
You got me, man.
150?
Blinds are 75, 150. Limits are 150, 300.
Definitely bluffed off that spot too many fucking times. At a table sitting with you. I'm just like, I guess I should do it with this shit too.
Schulman Jack 9 suited.
Still over 6 million to start the hand.
You just have it. It's
Is using his chip stack to his advantage here.
He's not going to get any action here.
I know you were rooting for me there.
No, I was just enjoying the show.
Yeah.
I thought you had nothing.
I honestly thought I had nothing too. I was really happy.
And Queen 4 no good as well.
Yeah. But all parts was just like, fuck. Well, what am I gonna do, right? Can I do anything else?
Just like a typical mixed player, I guess just a
thought
PLO
maybe
player in
very
general, you
slow.
flop the stone nuts, and
Yeah,
when
yeah,
your
I thought
opponent
about
snap calls the river, you just think
That
you're
makes
dead.
sense.
Then you rebluff
Yeah.
in raise.
Yeah,
Click.
that's why I bet like 150. I'm like, I want to give him room to like raise me. That's okay.
Urbanovich with the raise here,
Long
King
move.
Queen. Action over to Milgrom. He calls from the big blind.
Pretty fair fight here.
Ace 7-4, 2 clubs, 1 heart. Decent flop from Milgrom. Urbanovich going to continue on this texture as the pre-flop raiser.
Urbanovich hates that Milgrom didn't just snap fold.
King on the turn.
Definitely a card to get Urbanovich in trouble. Milgrom would call with a lot of gut shots, flush draws. Doesn't necessarily have to have an ace. Urbanovich does slow down. Oh
And
my
a
gosh.
queen on the end. Urbanovich backs into 2 pair out of nowhere. King high on the flop, now kings and queens, 2 pair on the river.
Nice little 3% on the flop.
Milgrom with a check. Quick bet out of Urbanovich. Call from Milgrom, and he's going to see the bad news. Urbanovich going turn and river to take a few bets off of Nico Milgrom, and Milgrom is now down to 1.6 million in chips.
All these hands are just so massive with how big the bets are.
Tough beat there for Milgrom. He did start the day as the chip leader. Everyone left here guaranteed $58,800. About a 21K pay jump is what they're looking at in the immediate future, and then a little bit further in the distance, more than $235,000 up top. As we see Pan come in with the raise. Jack 10 suited on the button.
Last night.
I had 4 million at midnight last night.
4 million?
Yeah, or 3.8.
Bluffed it all?
Schulman
No,
defends.
no.
Unlucky, unlucky.
Unlucky.
Always unlucky.
King Jack
Not
deuce.
always.
Rainbow, but one heart out there.
All in Raz. Like,
Who you gave it? To Nick?
mostly to him.
He then gave it away. Oh.
Yeah.
With exchange.
Yeah.
Schulman just check folds, and Pan takes that one. Pan has a chance.
Well,
If
off
he's
the
able
Jeremy
to go
also.
on and win this event, I
the
believe,
volunteer
if my
over him?
quick math serves me correct, will take the lead on the series leaderboard. So keep that in mind for what's in store at this final table. If you love playing poker, then you're going to love Global Poker. Whether it's tournaments or ring games, Global Poker has something for every type of player, and the action never stops. It runs around the clock. So find your next game today over at globalpoker.com.
Yeah. Correct.
Looks like we're getting another raise here from Pan, this time ace 6 of spades. He's in the cutoff this time.
Urbanovich does not defend the 7-3 suited.
10 seconds.
Still 5 left here. I haven't really seen many big confrontations as of late.
Yeah, but this is just the calm before the storm. We've seen this a few times before.
Yeah, when everyone starts getting around 3, 4, 5 big bets, you see elimination after elimination. You know, maybe we get to a big bet game and there's just hands that have to collide.
Urbanovich with the raise out of the small blind, putting the pressure on Scott Seiver. Seiver folds.
10 seconds.
Seiver back into the danger zone, cannot afford to play an entire hand if there's a bet on every street.
Raise.
Does Pan wake up with anything that he wants to continue with here? Only costs him 150K to win the 450 that's already in the middle. Does decide to call with the 8-5 suited.
How does it work with the fold?
I have 500 here, a little more. 525.
Pan flopping by far the best here with top pair. Seiver has 2 overs and backdoor straight draw.
10 seconds.
Wait, what?
That's one of those spots where I say graphics error.
Yeah, what just happened?
um,
I would assume it wasn't a graphics error.
I mean, it could
but-
also misread your hand. We've seen that before, you know,
Yeah.
too. Like, it,
Yeah, there's just such a quick action fold.
Last in the limit hold'em.
Scott doesn't know he was given a gift there. Now back over 1 million chips.
I mean, I have to imagine he misread his hand. That's the only, the
Well,
only
like you
thing.
said, after playing for 24 of the last 36 hours.
And we also know that those 2 seats that those players are in, Seiver and Pan, those are the hardest seats to see. They're the furthest away from things. So, you know, maybe he thought there was a 9 out there. Maybe he thought he had a 9 in his hand. I don't know. But, you know, I'm just going to chalk it up to that. And
Yep. On to the next one. Milgrom once again defending the big blind against Urbanovich's raise with the best hand.
10-7-6. Not the worst flop in the world for Urbanovich. He's got 3 to a straight, 2 overs, backdoor clubs. Action checks through. 3 of clubs on the turn, so that backdoor flush draw is live for Dzmitry.
Does Nico want to turn his hand into a bluff? No, he decides we're going to try to get to showdown with King High, which is the best hand. On the previous streets, Urbanovich checked back very quickly both times, and now he's thinking about it. I think he knows he has to turn his hand into a bluff. There's not really much that he beats if it goes to showdown. Nico is trying to get to showdown, which is exactly what it looks like from Urbanovich's perspective, so maybe he wants to charge him. Milgrom is getting pretty short. This is a quarter of his remaining stack. We do just have King High.
You do have King High, but, you know, no action on previous streets from Urbanovich. I'm going to guess that he's not betting ace high here.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, this, like, why wouldn't he bet some sort of value hand earlier?
Right. Completely agree. Maybe he has ace 5 and he's trying to go for value here to get called by, you know, ace high, but we can see Urbanovich is bluffing, and rightly so. He knows he needs to turn his hand into a bluff.
And I think just given the fact that Nico's been in the tank here and now used at least 1 time extension, I mean, he kind of senses that this doesn't really add up.
I mean, obviously we beat all queen highs. We beat worse king highs.
What time are we
Wow.
And he does make the call. King high call from Nico Milgrom.
Wow. That's
That is not easy to do when you are that short on chips.
Wow.
Having to commit such a decent portion of your stack on the end there with just king high. But Nico Milgrom, he does find the call and picks off the bluff from Dzmitry Urbanovich. Extremely well done.
50 antes,
that's quite a big swing there.
50 antes, 50, bring in 153.
And I think Nico just, you know, took his time. It just didn't add up, you know. It just didn't add up the way Dzmitry played that hand.
Right. Like you said, it
But it's
probably
also-
wasn't ace high.
Yeah, and it's also, but it's one thing to feel that and then actually make the call. Like,
Yeah.
it's not easy.
No, not at all.
And Dzmitry over there may be thinking, you know, if I just bet the flop, you know, my 2 overs, 3 to a straight, I can barrel the turn. Like he's,
Right.
you know, Nico probably just folds flop or folds turn or whatever, and I win that hand. So, yeah.
Yep. but both players are relatively short. We are back at the top where we started the day, playing stud 8 or better. Looks like the 5 of hearts is the bring in from Schulman. Instead of just bringing it in, we see something that isn't normally used very often with the complete as the lowest card.
That's 9 and 10 of clubs, yes?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, and this likely a factor that Schulman has a decent hand, yes, but also the chip leader, so he can put the pressure on right out of the gate.
Right.
Because you will see times when it gets to this stage of the tournament, you have some shorter stacks. If he just brings in, some players might just limp.
Right.
So he's just
Also
like, you know
true.
what? Full amount. Let's go.
There were a lot of bigger cards, and he was obviously the lowest card at the table. No one else had any hand to contend with, so I like it. We did see the last stud 8 round when we started the show. He did get a walk, so
don't
maybe
need to
that
road
could
swap
factor
funds
in
if it
as
goes
well
Like 100K.
Oh my god.
as
So
to
the
a
dance
reason
is
why you
extra
shouldn't
sick.
bring it
That's
in for the full
actually
amount,
what
but
you do.
very niche situations can call for it.
Schulman back up over 6 million. Scott Seiver is still the short stack, but is working on 7 figures himself.
Wow, Urbanovich didn't even look at his hand, brought it in, and he's now rolled up.
And rolled up will matter in stud high-low. Raz, absolutely hate to see it, but here when you can go both ways, high or low.
Milgrom's going to fall into a trap.
Is this last hand? Next one's that.
No, one more. Yeah.
Pawn completed. Milgrom raised. Action now back over to Urbanovich.
10 seconds.
Now, how do you play this hand if you're Urbanovich without just giving off alarm bells to everyone else?
I'm just calling.
450.
He's going for it. We're in there. This gives off so much strength. Pawn's going to fold. He just wants to deny equity to Pawn's potential low hand.
And what might be the worst hand that Urbanovich would do this with? Come in with a raise here. Like
Kings.
6-5-4 all spades.
Yeah,
type
6-5-4 all spades. Kings, something that's better than queens on the high side for sure. That 4 of spades is such a scary card if you're in Milgrom's shoes.
Yeah, if he did have 3 to a straight
That's
and
correct.
flush working for him, that 4 of spades slides right in there to connect with that type of range. So if you're Milgrom, I mean, I probably can't fault him if he just gets out of the way here.
I mean, you only have to call 150K into 1.45, but then it's going to cost you 900K to finish out the rest of the hand. Like that's one of the scariest cards in the deck is the 4 of spades. Everything he's raising with now just got stronger, or you're already beat.
10 seconds.
Does call 12% equity, needs to find a queen.
He gets a king, and it's an ace for Urbanovich.
I thought I
and
was going to speak it into existence and then saw paint.
Urbanovich's board is looking just far too scary for Milgrom to be able to continue there. So he gets out of the way. Urbanovich chips up nicely.
50 games.
Urbanovich back to nearly 2.5 million. Milgrom
How
slips
long's the break
back.
gonna be?
We are coming up on a short break in play, but we'll use the power of technology here. Fast forward through that break. We'll just have a short commercial, and that'll be it, and then we'll be back.
Last time?
Yeah.
As we fast forward things. We do operate the streams on a delay, which allows us to do that. So don't go too far. Plenty of action to be had here at the event number 4 final table of the PGT Mixed Games series. Still playing Stutter 8 or better here. Pawn's going to bring it in. He's got a 5 up, 6-3 in the hole.
15. This was last hand.
Schulman completing with the power of the ace up. Pawn's not going anywhere.
Call.
10
Schulman catches a bad card. Pan catches a really good 6. And Schulman gives up the hand. Schulman dipping back under 6 million. Still a pretty overwhelming chip leader. 5
All
handed.
right, here we go. Welcome to High Stakes Poker, Season 15.
There will be blood.
Question is, whose blood will be all over the felt?
100. I played with you before.
Want action?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not here to not have
Okay.
action. You tried to bluff me. I'm a nice guy here playing good poker with nice people, and you tried to bluff me.
He tried to rob you. Man's got to do what a man's got to do.
I'm all in.
Wow. I've seen it all.
Table change.
We're not in good shape.
Welcome to High Stakes Poker, Season 15, the season of blood.
We got ourselves a game, boys.
Welcome back to Poker Go's coverage of PGT Mixed Games event number 4. The final table leaderboard presented by Global Poker sees Nick Schulman on top with 5.825 million in chips. Dzmitry Urbanovich, Qinghai Pan, Nicolas Milgrom, and Scott Seiver round out the final 5. Everyone left guaranteed $58,800. Up top, $235,000. We are playing stud high-low right now. My name is Donnie Peters, Kevin Gerhardt alongside. Appreciate everyone who is tuning into the action. If you caught that commercial, that was a little look into Season 15 of High Stakes Poker, which is available now in full, exclusively on PokerGo.com. So check it out today. Kevin Hart, the global superstar comedian, is in the mix. Andrew Robles in there. You got Antonio Esfandiari out there battling. So it is an epic, epic, epic season with monstrous pots. Back to the action here. Urbanovich bringing it in. Seiver calls. Pan calls.
Milgrom gives up his jack. Schulman, nice looking ace-6 in the hole, but 10 up also gives it up. Closing the action, didn't really want to get stuck into the hand, even for an extra 50,000. Queen is actually a good card for Pan, making him a pair. Deuce for Urbanovich has a low draw now, 4 to a low.
200?
Yeah.
Playing 200, 400 limits now. A lot of these stacks can't even afford to play a full hand. Urbanovich coming with the raise, deny equity to Scott behind.
Pan gets a 3, and it's a jack for Urbanovich.
400K if you want to bet here. Does check. Urbanovich is going to check back. Doesn't even have a gut shot to go with his low draw. The raise on the previous street saved him the bet on this street and denied equity from Seiver.
Action checks through. It's another ace over there for Pan and a king for Urbanovich.
Wow, and now Urbanovich only has 35% to make a low on the end. We have to call 400K into 1.6 in the middle.
Yeah, and absolutely zero visibility to the high. Like, you don't even have a pair that you can make 2 pair trips, possibly beat aces from your opponent.
Right.
Don't even have any sort of gut shot to go along with it. So you are just purely chasing the low, and he does get out of the way.
Yeah, that's a really good, really disciplined fold. No reason to chase there. Your opponent could also sometimes have a low draw, but after he bets on 4th Street, he probably has a pair of queens or some sort of high hand. But yeah, just a very disciplined approach to that hand from Urbanovich, from the raise on 3rd Street being the small bet to saving a bet on 5th Street to folding on 6th Street.
So that pot does put pawn up into 2nd in chips. Nick Schulman still out in front with 5 players remaining. This tournament began with 84 players yesterday. Everyone paid $10K to buy in. We are down to the final 5. We will be finishing this tournament out here on the stream, going all the way to a winner. Tomorrow, the PGT Mixed Games Series has off. And then we'll be back on Monday for the final table of the 15K buy-in Big Bet Mix tournament. That one should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we took a couple looks at the field from the overhead camera, and it is just so many sharks out there, so many tables that you just do not want to play at.
Yep. And I would imagine some, if not all, of these guys here too will hop into that tournament once they're done here. You know, I would definitely say Scott Seiver and Nick Schulman are going to be out there, but I think everyone else will probably get in the mix too. Somebody like, you know, Qinghai Pan, who I might say, you know, hey, maybe he doesn't play all those games or want to play those games. Maybe he sticks to the more limit hold'em or limit varieties. But given where he's setting himself up on the series leaderboard, it's going to be to his benefit to get into that tournament and just try and score more points to hopefully win the series title. You know, that it's very important to just try and get as many points as you can. Pan can take the leaderboard lead if he wins this tournament. He had a 3rd place finish in the 10K Tours event. That one closed out yesterday.
I mean, yeah, there's no reason not to play the rest of the events. He cashed probably over 100K yesterday. You know, might cash for another 100K today, depending on how this shapes up. No reason not to play the rest of the tournaments.
Complete.
Urbanovich brought it in with the deuce. Seiver called with his split 8s. Pawn completed with 2-4-5. Milgrom giving up his jacks. Probably a factor of ICM and wanting to ladder. He knows Scott can be all in this hand, so he doesn't want to get involved.
10 of spades. Check.
Scott checking, most likely to preserve his tournament life.
10s are a bet.
Wanted to see another street. Caught a great card in terms of a 10 to make 2 pair. Seiver back over $1 million now. All right, so if you had to stake one person in the big bet mix to make a final table, who's your one pick?
Nick Schulman.
Okay, I was going to ask. It's probably
100%.
100% Nick Schulman.
Is No Limit Deuce 7 in the mix? Yes. Okay,
yes.
Nick Schulman.
All right, we're in there. All right, I'm taking Chad.
I mean, Chad Eveslage is just simply incredible. Like that guy's just—he's an absolute savant when it comes to all of poker.
Yeah, it's unreal how good he is at poker. I mean, there really are no slouches in that field, but it's crazy to think that we can both just snap off one person to make the final table to put our money on.
The one game that's going to be interesting to watch the players play. Well, there's 2 of them specifically. One is the no limit 5-card draw.
Yep.
Like that one seems like a total wild card. I have no idea who's going to be good or bad in that format. So I'm just going to guess it's a draw game, probably Nick is very good at it. Or, you know, somebody like a Phil Ivey would probably just learn it very quickly.
Probably.
You know, there's probably some players that play it that we just don't know play it, but I'd be interested in that. And then the other game is the Pot Limit Deuce 7 Triple Draw, which I know does make it into some of the mixes for the high-stakes cash games.
Yeah.
But
that is just a massive,
that's going to be a very,
game.
very interesting game to watch, you know, the players try and navigate through, because there can be a whole crap ton of action in that one.
Right.
I mean, Deuce 7 Triple Draw, whenever it's in the mix, that game tends to play the biggest anyway.
Right.
Now it's going to be Pot Limit. Like, it's going to be very, very interesting to see that one unfold. So I'm super excited for that final table coming up on Monday. That one's going to be a lot of fun.
It was a number of years ago at this point, but Benny put out like a YouTube training video on single draw high.
I mean, he's another one, Benny Glauser, like who can just, he's probably very good at all of them. And with Benny specifically, he probably gets a fair amount of reps in, just as much, if not more, than anyone else, because he plays all the different Poker Stars series online, the
Right.
W Coop and Scoop, and they have like
do something
5-card
there, I don't
draw.
know
They
what.
have all these games in them,
Yeah.
you know. So he's out there
3-4,
battling in them,
Scotty.
probably more so than a lot of players.
God.
Isn't he the most
And a 7.
winningest, or he's won the most Coop titles or
Draw 3
something?
to start.
Yeah.
If it's not him,
you-
he's
you
right
have
up
that,
there
you
with,
have
you know,
that.
it's like him,
Somewhere up
Taz,
there.
etc. Like there's a handful of them, but
You
it
got 2
very
5s
much
and a
might be
6?
Benny.
Yeah.
Ace, king, whatever.
Just nailing the 3-4s. Wow.
I got 2 6.
2 6 and 5. Makes sense.
We have switched to Deuce to 7 Triple Draw. This will get expensive if two hands are forced to collide, because you don't
Well,
really
I
see
know our
much
cards.
folding before showdown.
Complete. Or raise.
Alright, 2 bets.
It's an interesting spot for Milgrom. 8-3 Deuce, just a very quick fold. I like it. I
Never
like it a
understood
lot.
Why it's complete and stud? What does that even mean?
Great question.
Isn't it just a raise, right? Like I don't.
Well, it's not just a raise.
It should just be
because-
raised,
Yeah,
right?
it should be raised.
Okay, so like I don't know why it's called complete, but like the reason is because they wanted an extra raise to be possible on Third Street.
I see.
So the complete doesn't count as a raise for your like 5 raise cap or whatever.
I
That makes
see. But why not just 5 raise cap?
Great question. Great question. That I have no idea. But like you're completing the first bet, and then anything after is a raise.
Yeah.
Makes sense to absolutely everyone and
I
no
think it
one at
has
the
to
same
do-
time.
Again,
I mean, I have
think it has to do with,
thought
like, because
that
the
same
Brigham
thing
has
many
the
times. I think I
option.
thought it last night.
And
Why
so
is it
they're
called
just like,
complete?
okay, so, like,
But it also
the
makes
big blind is
exact
really,
sense
like,
for
the
what
big
Seiver
number,
was saying. But
and
it's
we're
like, but it
allowing
could just
you
be
to, like,
called.
bring
the
it
It could just be
small.
called raise. Exactly.
Like, I don't know. It's all
But the bring-in doesn't have an option though. What do you mean?
because they can like complete or not.
I
so you're
see,
completing to what the real
I
quote
see.
unquote
That
blind
actually.
should be.
I see.
Yeah. No. No. But you only looked at 2. What the hell?
Okay, we get some action here. Urbanovich with a decision slightly to keep the 9 or not. I don't think it's worth it. I think drawing 2 for both players is the correct decision.
2 and 2.
Both players taking 2.
I haven't seen Dzmitry's cards. If he improved a card, he should be betting here. And by improvement, I mean any 8, 7, 5, or 3. Seiver improves and catches his best card, giving him an 8 perfect draw. Should see it go 1-1 here.
Yeah, just wait. Let him make his decision first. You know what I mean? But not while we're in middle of decision time.
Yeah, Scott doesn't even have enough to call the next street and then the final street. Dzmitry is Pat.
You're bad.
Seiver taking 1, drawing to that 8. Oh, it's 7-6-5.
Wow, Seiver is just drawing dead.
Seiver pairs the 8 here, so no improvement.
So pairing the 8 is actually not terrible for Seiver because it makes it less likely that Urbanovich has an 8 in his hand. If he wants to, he can fold here and preserve his tournament life. It's really, really hard to do, but I wouldn't put it past a player like Scott. He does call. Having an 8 also makes it more likely that Urbanovich has a 9, but we do not want to improve here as Seiver. Urbanovich is going to bet. Seiver catches a third 8. If he sweats it, it's a 3 across, which means 6, 7, or 8.
So we see his reaction, but Urbanovich says you didn't want to improve because we know him improving would have been bad news and Seiver would have been out the door. So
yeah, Urbanovich has the 4th best hand. Seiver's drawing to the 5th best hand.
No hero call with 8s against players?
I can lose to like 6s. I would have called like deuces or 3s. Honestly, good chance I would have called anything other than an 8. Probably I got very lucky there.
Suspicious.
Yeah. Okay, next turn, let's go.
Take to start since like.
Yeah.
Not bad to rush.
No.
5 left with the start since.
Yeah. I mean, after registration was closed yesterday, I had 20,000 chips for like 2 hours, 2.5 hours. Just one decision at a time.
Yeah, with how short Seiver is, I'd be surprised if Milgrom wants to enter any pots. Seiver with half of his stack already in the middle from the small blind. Does decide the king, queen, 9, 6, 5 is good enough. He's drawing 3 to the 6, 5. Schulman drawing 2 to the 2, 3, 4. No more betting, but we'll see if Seiver can improve. He catches a deuce, which is really good for him. Draw 2, draw 2. Very fair fight right now.
Yeah, well, not all like the burns off.
Seiver down to drawing 1. He catches a lot of cards that Schulman needs, but Schulman makes it 10-8 perfect. So when Seiver draws 1 here, Schulman is going to stand pat, and Seiver needs to improve to stay alive in this tournament.
1.
Seiver does, in fact, announce that he's taking 1. It's pat for Schulman, so Seiver's going to sweat this one home.
10, 9, 8, 7.
And it's a deuce, so it's going to pair Scott Seiver, and we are going to lose him in 5th place. $58,800 in the pocket of Scott Seiver as he is out the door to leave us with 4 players remaining. And of course, it is Nick Schulman who takes him out. Schulman has been the chip leader for quite some time now, and he is back up over $6 million as a commanding lead with 4 players left. Look at the leaderboard here, presented by our friends at Global Poker.
We switch into 6 hands.
Find your new poker game today at globalpoker.com.
4-handed, we now play 6 hands?
No, 3 hands. Yes, 3 hands.
When 3 players, okay, cool.
Still playing 7 hands of each game. When they get down to 3 players, they'll play 6 hands of each game. Then when they get down to heads-up play, they'll play 4 hands of each game. So that's how things shift in terms of the number of players left. Nico Milgrom in the big blind here. He is the current short stack. The final 4 players have locked up $79,800.
Schulman, monster here. 4-handed. 8 perfect draw. Milgrom in the big blind. probably shouldn't play this hand. He is very short. This could be the last hand of his tournament. He only has 800K behind, calling 200 more, 600K behind. Draw 2, draw 1.
2 and 1.
Check.
Playing inflow, drawing more than your opponent warrants a check. Drawing fewer from Schulman means that he can bet.
And Milgrom makes a 10-8.
10 seconds.
Schulman has a pair.
Okay, and Milgrom will be all in on the next street. It should be draw 1 here.
1.
Milgrom makes the
Milgrom,
8-7.
Gets that 5. Schulman has a 10.
Yeah, Milgram's just going to lead all in here. And Schulman's calling with everything without even looking at his cards. Milgrom is pat. Schulman is going to break.
So that 10 gets pitched from Schulman. He's going to be looking for a 7, a 6, or a 5.
There
And
it
it's a
is.
6. So Schulman finds a 6 on the end to make a better 8 than Milgrom. And that sends Nico Milgrom out the door in 4th place. $79,800 for Milgrom. And the rich get richer as it pertains to Nick Schulman, who is now up over 7 million in chips.
He has just become the Grim Reaper.
Yeah, of course. Why 6? Why not 3? Why 6? Why not 3? Orbits?
Here's a look at the leaderboard now as things stand. Once again, presented by Global Poker, presenting sponsor of the Poker Go Tour. Nick Schulman up on top, 7.15 million. Dzmitry Urbanovich and Qinghai Pan pretty close in chips, 2.925, 2.525. So one big bet separating those two players. But as things stand right now, the man at the top of the mountain is Nick Schulman. And it looks like it's going to be incredibly hard to knock him off with the way things have been going for the last hour, hour and a half at this final table. Urbanovich finds a hand to raise here.
Schulman's in there for sure, 7-5 deuce. Urbanovich in there for 1 with the 8-6-5 tray.
All right, 2 and 1.
Oh, it's time. Nick close 10.
Schulman checks dark. Dzmitry bets dark. Schulman catches a 3, giving him 4 to a wheel.
1.
Does call.
Check.
1 and pat. Dzmitry pats with a 9-8-6.
And Schulman gets an 8.
This is a pretty tricky spot, but I think being so short-handed, we have to call and then check decide. I don't think raising the 8-7-5 is good enough. I definitely wouldn't raise 8-7-6.
Schulman agrees and comes with the call and then a quick pat.
And Dzmitry can break his hand here. He is drawing to a deuce or a 4. He is thinking. Nine eight is just such a sketchy hand. There's two thoughts going through Dmitry's mind right now. Do we break, which he does, or if Schulman didn't raise and he checks, can we get him to fold with a bet on the end? And I think Urbanovich comes with the right decision to break.
Well, he's not going to like to see that he paired up here on the end.
I checked. Did you see it?
I did not check.
Schulman checks. Action is on Urbanovich.
And it's so hard for anyone to find a bluff in this spot.
Urbanovich checks behind, and Schulman's going to table the winner. And Schulman now up over 8 million in chips.
Dead button.
Yeah, it's just been on a heater, knocking two people out, winning pot after pot. I mean, all these pots are quite large compared to what the chip stacks in play are. He's just hitting the right hands and making the right decisions.
Going back to the latter stages of day one, Schulman took a sick one when Jeremy Osmus raised in, I believe, the cutoff, maybe the button. Schulman jammed from the blinds, one of the blinds, it might have been the big blind. Osmus thought for a bit and called off with ace-10. Schulman had ace-queen. It came king, queen, jack on the flop.
That's
for at the time, I think the pot was around 1.3, 1.4 million, something like that. Schulman was left with around 250 to 300K. So things were looking bleak at that moment, but was able to run things back up. And now here he is holding 65% of the chips in play, three-handed. Everyone left is locked up 6 figures. The payout right now, $109,200. Then it's 151K for second and 235 up top for the winner.
50, 100, 100.
And there's been no talk of chops whatsoever to this point. I don't know if Schulman or Urbanovich would even entertain the idea, but there's been no discussion.
Limit? No limit hold'em.
Starting no limit hold'em, 50, 100, 100, which means 17 blinds, 28 blinds, and 80 blinds. And just giving Schulman premium hands seems unfair. Oh my gosh, Urbanovich, this is...
I mean, this is going to be a jam.
This seems like a pretty standard spot.
And he does move it all in. Schulman quickly calls with the ace-queen, a similar spot to the one I just outlined from last night. Ace-queen for Schulman, dominating an ace from his opponent. This time it's Urbanovich who's dominated with the ace-9. If Schulman holds, he's going to be heads up with Qinghai Pan.
We know who Pan is rooting for.
8, 6, 4. Couple of diamonds present. Schulman has the ace of diamonds in hand. Queen on the turn, and that is going to do it. Once again, Schulman has an opponent drawing stone dead on the turn. And this time it's to take out Dzmitry Urbanovich in third place. Urbanovich collecting $109,200 for his efforts. And Nick Schulman now with almost 80% of the chips in play, as we see here on the leaderboard, presented by Global Poker. 9.975 million for Schulman. Pan's got 2.625 million. And Pan, bettering his spot from the previous final table where he finished third, he's now heads up here.
You need the pack or I'm good?
The most exclusive poker tournament in the world is back.
National Heads Up Poker Championship.
It's back.
64 players, head-to-head, only one winner.
The game's best and most entertaining players set to compete in a single elimination, bracket-style heads-up tournament.
There's a lot of killers in this field. People can't run away from you.
You have to play every single hand.
This is my event. I was born for this.
$25,000 buy-in, 500 grand to the winner.
It's pretty simple. Win, you move on. Lose, you go home. You part ways with $25,000.
It's the National Heads Up Poker Championship, and it all starts right now.
How are the GTO kids gonna have an edge when I go like this?
We are back for heads-up play between Nick Schulman and Qinghai Pan in event number 4 at the 2026 PGT Mixed Games Series. This is a $10,000 buy-in 8-game tournament. 84 entries began, and we are down to the final 2. Schulman's got 80% of the chips in play, and he has been making light work of his opponents at today's final table.
Still playing No Limit Hold'em.
Yeah, he's the big blind.
Difference of about $85,000 between first and second place. Pan here. A celebratory bag of chips for reaching heads-up play.
I mean, 150K payday is pretty nice after 100K the last tournament he played.
I would imagine No Limit Hold'em is very much going to favor Nick Schulman, especially with this size chip lead he has over his opponent. And
until now,
Schulman here flopping well.
This is interesting spots.
Schulman check calls.
Check.
Deuce on the turn. Schulman still best here.
400.
Pan not slowing down. 400K.
This is where we get to see what Nick Schulman really thinks of Pan. It is hard to make a pair in Hold'em.
10 seconds.
Yeah, I think ultimately here, Schulman just still has too much of a hand to fold. Certainly not good enough a hand that you want to raise. Don't want to turn this type of hand into a bluff, so check call seems very much in line. 9 on the end.
And can Pan go for another barrel?
He does not. Check, check. And Schulman's going to win the first hand of heads-up play and extend his chip lead further.
That was a big pot. Pan just losing a third of his stack.
Schulman takes right around $1 million off Pan to start things off. He's now got 86% of the chips in play.
And there's still a few more hands of No Limit Hold'em. This is a great spot for Nick Schulman with your opponent at 18 big blinds.
Schulman in line here to get his first win of the 2026 PGT season, his 8th career PGT title should he grab that trophy. Schulman just finds it again. This time ace-jack off on the button.
250.
Comes with the raise, 250.
Yeah, bigger than just a min raise. I like it a lot. Takes another 200K off a pawn stack. Can Pan spin his 16 big blinds back up? It's a really good hand to do it with.
10 seconds.
Raise.
225.
Schulman's in there, jack 6, pawn, pair of 10s.
King 10-9 rainbow, set of 10s for pawn, gutter for Nick Schulman.
Schulman just gives it up. And Pan shows him.
I had outs.
Okay, Pan back to 20 big blinds. We only have a couple more hands of no limit hold'em. We are only playing 4 hands of each game after this rotation.
Yeah, because Dzmitry Urbanovich went out during the playing of the 6 hands, they're going to finish out those 6 hands, and then they'll convert to playing just 4 hands of each game.
Oh, and,
Yeah, one more for your blind. There you go.
10 seconds.
Wow.
Nice.
Kings now for Pan. He upgrades from
Yeah.
the 10s.
That's pretty strong where he goes raise and then reaches for chips.
10 seconds.
Ace is next.
I believe he showed him there.
He did. He showed him the 10s, then he showed him the kings.
Well, if you want to improve your No Limit Hold'em tournament game, then head on over to Octopi Poker now. Start with a free account and then unlock advanced tools for as little as $25, or you can just pay $200 for the entire year. They'll have you covered from pre-flop ranges to a dynamic GTO trainer. OctopiPoker.ai is where you can actually level up your game. Head there now and start exploring today. Last hand here of No Limit Hold'em. Schulman finds a nice looking king-queen, and he is faced with a raise from Pan, and Schulman is just going to put him in.
225 roughly.
How much?
No words spoken,
I don't
just
have king this
tower.
No kings again?
Only one king.
10 seconds.
Good fold.
Alright, go ahead and bury that button. We're gonna move on to stud. And now it's four hands of each game, right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
50-50.
7-card stud is up next.
50-50-2-4.
Both these players pretty well versed in 7-card stud. I think we know what Nick Schulman brings to the table in 7-card stud. And then Qinghai Pan, very good stud player from what I've been told and also from what I've seen. You know, he did win that bracelet in the 10K stud high-low. I would imagine if you're playing stud high-low, you're playing stud.
Probably, yeah. Although stud high is a much harder variance, in my opinion. $50, $50, 2, 4 are the limits that we're playing.
Complete.
Donna watching, is there a Venetian game tonight? There is, and I will be on commentary. I'm going to drive from here over to there once I'm done with this, whenever that is. So once I get that done, the plan is to start that at 6. Now, I may need to call someone and say I'm going to be late if this thing takes a while, but at least right now we're tracking good. So you guys on Poker Go, you get a double stream day, okay? I'm just hoping I can make it on time. If I don't, then Tristan Wade will start the commentary without me.
Pan catching a much better card than Schulman here. Does go check, check. Another street that favors Pan.
400.
That's 400. Quick fold from Schulman.
Schulman's still sitting on more than 10 million in chips. That's more than 80% of the chips in play here. Dika Costa in the chat says hello, DP and
Yeah, it's all
KG.
good. Don't worry about
What's
it.
up, brother?
Yeah.
Appreciate you, Deke. Hope you're doing well, sir.
3 bring in, snap complete from Schulman with the split queens.
One more hand.
One more hand, and then we'll increase the limits once again. Stacks are still getting shorter. Pawn, as it stands, has 5 bets. When we go up, he will go down to 4 bets, which is not enough to play one full hand. Eight bring in. Queens again for Schulman. Pawn a little more incentivized to continue with this. He does have an ace.
10 seconds.
Nice.
Besides, the ace is good enough for a raise. Nice little semi-bluff spot here. You can see Schulman has the goods, 71% equity.
10 seconds.
Schulman flicks in the call. He's in a great spot here. We get a 6 for Pawn and a king for Schulman.
Very clean.
Schulman comes with the bet.
Now Pawn picking up 3 straight, 3 flush.
A 10 and a 7. Schulman gonna bet again. Stays on the gas.
10 not doing anything for Pawn's hand. He is getting very short.
And into the muck
give
it
it
goes.
Schulman can taste it now. Pawn is left with just over 2 bets.
So 50 antes, 75 bring in, playing 55. You get that? Yep. Last hand of stud.
Last hand of stud here. Like I said, Pawn with just over 2 bets cannot afford to play an entire hand. The next hand he plays, he will be all in.
75. Complete.
Once again, Pawn has the power of the ace.
Yeah, but once again, Schulman is in a dominating spot.
Yeah, but the equities in stud are so much different than in Hold'em. It's 53-47. Folding here would be pretty disastrous. The ace is so strong.
Trees are new. Trees are high.
Pair of 3s showing for Pawn.
250.
You could still only bet 250. I really like that change from the old style of if you pair, or if anyone pairs on 4th Street, you could double bets.
Yep.
Schulman knows it's pretty unlikely that Pawn has anything more than a pair here. We do have 4 overs to it. The equities have swung quite large in Pawn's favor. All this going through Nick Schulman's head. Does give it up. Just very disciplined. We just want to play small ball. Don't want to take spots that are too bad for us.
First thing I want, 8 or better. 125 and 250 blind. He's playing 255.
This one I expect Pawn to be all in.
Yeah, put this on.
This is a great game for short stacks because there's a lot of chop pots. You don't really lose too much. I think he's going to play this one a little more aggressively. Schulman, very, very strong starting hand on the button.
10 seconds.
Raise.
Pawn also has a strong starting hand. Now we're going to see some pots in this game between these two, especially if they keep getting hands like this.
Jack 10-3 rainbow.
Both players backdoor flush draws. Both players gut shot to the king. Schulman can catch an 8 and make the queen high straight. Pair of 7s still good.
And there's the 8 for Schulman.
Wow, those equities just shifted so massively.
Schulman now 90% on the high, 35% on the low.
Really hard for Pawn to continue here. 850 left. He knows if he calls this bet, he has to call so many river cards. Great, great fold. 850K left for Pawn. Nick Schulman. Over 12, almost 12 million chips now.
That represents 93% of the chips in play.
Pawn's going to have to really pull something together here to make this a ball game.
Just 125.
One.
It's 5 chips. Good.
These two players are guaranteed $151,200. $235,200 is up top for the winner. So difference there of $84,000 in prize money is what these guys are playing for.
Pawn doesn't look too happy. No snap raise.
10 seconds.
Schulman has to be keen enough to pick up on this. Just folds and we'll never know. We'll never know what he has. Now Pawn is the big blind for 250,000 of his 725 remaining. Eventually it just gets to a spot where Schulman should just be raising 100% of hands to try and get all in and run your equity against Pawn. We might be getting really close to that situation. I suspect Schulman is not folding very many hands. There is the raise.
Queen 10-7 deuce double suited for Schulman.
Yeah, I think it would be a pretty big mistake to fold this hand from Pawn. If you look at our equities, they're plenty fine to continue. Make any pair, anything on this flop, we have to go with it.
King 6-5.
Yep,
Some
good
draws there
enough.
for Pawn, good enough, and he's all in for 225. Schulman doesn't really have much, but
Schulman has
just the bet's so
nothing.
small. This could be the final blow that wins you the tournament.
Yeah.
And he is going to call, and here we go.
Queen high, still the best hand somehow.
I got the high. Pair the board.
All right, Qinghai Pan all in and at risk here. Nick Schulman. He's got one hand on that trophy. Trying to finish it off here in event number 4 of the Mixed Game Series. Jack of spades on the turn.
Pair the ball now.
No, don't pair the board.
Flips here for the high.
No more pair the board.
Wow.
Nice hand.
King on the end does pair the board. And that's going to keep Pan's hand best and give him the much needed double up as we fight on.
It do pair the ball.
Yeah, it paired the board, but I needed it to double pair the board. Little greedy though.
Yeah, so the ball might better.
Last hand, Omaha 8 or better.
Raise.
Raise. 5 total.
All right, 2 hands that we'll definitely see a flop with.
10 seconds.
10, 7, 6 with a couple of spades.
250.
Schulman's got a pretty good low draw. He's got spades in his hand as well.
Just comes with call.
Ace on the turn. That's going to lock up the low half of the pot for Schulman.
We're just going to get it all in here and see if Schulman can hit his 35% free roll.
Raise.
Schulman's going to raise.
Schulman needs a king, a spade,
I bet 500.
or a 4.
And he raised, right?
Yep.
Yeah, call.
He's all in.
Can he do it? 35%. Take home $235,000 and the PGT trophy and the PGT leaderboard points. Nick Schulman. King, 4, spade.
It is the king of diamonds, and that is going to do it. Seals the deal for Nick Schulman, his 8th career PGT title. And it comes here at the 2026 PGT Mixed Games Series in event number 4, $10,000 buy-in.
You don't need this anymore, right?
8-game tournament. Schulman tops a field of 84 entries to win $235,200. Qinghai Pan follows up his 3rd place finish in event number 3 with a 2nd place finish here in event number 4. Urbanovich, Milgrom, Seiver, Chambers, Klein round out the final table. A look out here at the field for the 15K big bet mix. The final table of this event will stream on PokerGo on Monday. So don't forget to tune in then. Next week, a whole ton of mixed games action coming to you from Las Vegas. For Kevin Gerhardt, my name is Donnie Peters. We'll see you guys next time.